Morning, Finney County. It is 8:30 a.m. I call to order this meeting of the Finney County Board of County Commissioners. If you'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear God, as we gather today to do the county's business, be with us, guide and direct us. Give us wisdom and courage and honor to do the right things for the right reasons. Help us look out for those who can't help themselves, and also to give praise and honor to those employees who are here gathered to receive recognition for dutiful public service. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner Schultz. Before we go any further, I would like to announce that we have item 5N would like to be moved up so that they can get to work. So we're going to move that up right after the public hearing item on our agenda this morning. And let's get started with consent agenda. Does anybody have any changes or corrections to that?
I would so move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And that motion carries. Next item on the agenda is special presentations, and I believe we have quite a few of those. So we will start off with, is it Kelly going to come up first?
Good morning, Commissioners. Today we take time to recognize something that truly matters, the people that make our organization successful every single day. Annually, Finney County and the Kansas Association of Counties wishes to celebrate employees for reaching specific service milestones. These recognitions help acknowledge loyalty, commitment, and contributions to our organization over time. It's often said that employees are our greatest asset, and that statement couldn't be more true. It is the dedication, knowledge, and commitment of our employees that truly drives Finney County's success. Individuals being honored today have invested their time, talent, and energy into helping our organization grow and thrive. Each year of service represents not just time on the job, but relationships built, challenges overcome, and contributions that make a lasting impact to our community. Recognition events like this are important because they give us an opportunity to pause and say something that should never go unsaid. Thank you. Thank you for your commitment, thank you for your hard work, and thank you for the difference you make every day. Today, we are proud to celebrate your milestones and the important role each of you plays in our continued service to the residents of Finney County. Congratulations to all of our honorees, and thank you for being part of such an important part of our community. We'll go ahead and kick off with directors will come up and say a few words about each of their employees. Okay, thanks. And Beth?
Oh, two in the middle. Oh, okay. Good morning. I'm going to read mine so I don't forget any words.
Beth, would you let us, give us your name for the viewing public?
Beth Beavers, Director of the Finney County Department of Corrections. And this is Carlos Murillo, Deputy Director of the JDC, and then Norma Cortez. She is our kitchen help. So Norma, congratulations on your 16 years of devoted service at the JDC. Your commitment, your steady perseverance, and genuine care you bring to your work have touched so many lives. You've supported your teammates and shown all of us what it means to serve with heart. You are truly an inspiration.
Thank you.
I'm just going to make this pretty easy. Norma makes my job easier all the time. She shows up to work all the time. She communicates with me when she's going to be gone. I know I can depend on her, and she showed initiative by, furthering her education. So I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Certificate.
Good morning. Hot mic. My name is Nolan Till. I'm the Director of Maintenance and Special Projects, and today I have Kyle Joyce with me. I too wrote some stuff down, but it wasn't as elaborate as Beth's. Kyle has been with Finney County for 8 years now. His first 6 years was spent as a maintenance tech too, primarily at the LEC, but he also ventured to a few other facilities and did maintenance there as well. And then the past 2 years, he's taken on a leadership role as a maintenance supervisor. And then he also filled in as the director for a short time until I came to the county. He brings a ton of institutional knowledge and a great experience for the Finney County team. We're happy and proud of his 8-year accomplishment, and congratulations, Kyle.
Center of attention.
Morning, everybody. I'm Bill Osmond, Finney County Public Works Road and Bridge Maintenance Supervisor. Today, we're here to welcome James Day. It says 8 years of service, Equipment Operator 3 for Finney County. He's an accomplished operator, takes care of our roads, maintains them very well. He does a very good job of training employees, keeping our roads safe, and thank you, James, for 8 years of service.
Okay, Larry Brungart, I'm the interim road and bridge director. Today I'm presenting for Ray Lopez, who couldn't be here. He's on vacation. Ray began working for Finney County in December of 1993 in the sign department, repairing signs and flagging for construction projects. He then moved to the utility department in 1998, taking care of utility permits, inspections, and maintaining the county's sewer districts. In 2021, Ray became the county sanitarian in charge of septic tank permitting and inspections also. Ray also does asphalt maintenance inspections when the county seals or has hot mix overlays. Ray is a very important part of the Finney County team, and I don't know what we would do without him, so congratulations, and here's to another 32 years, Ray.
So Derek Ramos, County Administrator. So Kara has been truly a joy to work with. We are very thankful for all she has brought to Finney County over the years. So since joining Finney County in 2017 and later transitioning to the County Counselor's Office, she has served with professionalism, thoughtfulness, and a genuine willingness to help and serve others. She has a way of bringing both competency and a positive attitude to her work, and that makes a real difference to those she works with every day. So Kara's dedication, service-minded approach, and the value she provides to the organization and to the community are deeply appreciated, and we are grateful for her continued service to Finney County. So I can't say enough about Dory. I mean, she has been such an important part of Finney County, and it has truly been a pleasure to work with her. Since joining the county in 2017 and stepping into the county clerk's role shortly thereafter, she has led with professionalism, consistency, and a strong commitment to public service. She brings a great deal of knowledge. She is a wealth of knowledge for me and has truly made my transition easier. She brings steady leadership and care to her work, and she has helped provide stability in a role that is so important to the day-to-day operations of the county. So Dory's dedication and years of service have added tremendous value to this organization and to the community we serve, and we are very grateful and lucky to have her with the county. So thank you, Dory. And last but not least, Dana, you want to come up? So again, we've been very blessed to have some extraordinary leaders, and I've been very blessed to come into this organization this past 6 months and work with amazing leaders like Kara, Dory, and Dana. So Dana has been such an important part of Finney County, and we are very grateful for her 24 years of dedicated service. She began her career working with the WIC program as a certified nursing assistant and later transferred into family planning while continuing her education to become a registered nurse. After earning her RN in 2009, she stepped into the role of family planning nurse and continued serving patients and supporting public health programs that make a real difference in the lives of people in our community. So over the years, Dana has taken on increasing leadership responsibilities, including serving as a charge nurse and local health officer. She also stepped up to serve as interim director during times when a department was without a director, helping provide much needed stability and continuity of leadership in both 2001 and again in 2005. Dana's career reflects a deep commitment to service, and the knowledge, care, and leadership she brings to work have added tremendous value to Finney County and the community we serve. So we want to thank Dana.
Derek, you did such a good job. You want to stay up here and help me? Good morning. Greg Hands, Under Sheriff, Finney County Sheriff's Office. I'm filling in for Sheriff Steve Martinez today. He thought a Penguins game was important to go to. It is his birthday tomorrow, so we thought we'd give him a day off or a break. But I have several people that I'm going to honor or give awards to today, but a lot of them aren't here because we make them work too much, and so they are home resting or preparing for the next work day. So Courtney Mild will be the first one, 8 years of service. She started 12/7 of 17 as a jail deputy, got promoted to corporal, and then to sergeant on 12/7 of 2020. Now she runs one of our jail shifts up in the jail, does a great job for us. She's on top of things, gets things done, trains people. We're really lucky to have her. The second one is Jared Cooper. Jared came to us from Johnson County, Kansas, or Johnson City, Kansas. He hired straight to patrol, which isn't normal for the sheriff's office. Typically, everybody starts in the jail and then goes on, but we have a couple of those today that started straight in patrol. So Jared Cooper started 9/20 of 17, and he's still on patrol with us today. The next one is Colleen Baskew. She was also hired straight to patrol. I don't know how or what happened there, but she was hired 5/30 of 2017 and then promoted to investigations 1/4 of 2021. I will get her award to her later. For those of you that are law enforcement in the room, you'll understand why. Jose Garcia. Jose's another kid that's local Southwest Kansas kid, I think Lake and Deerfield area. He got hired as a jail deputy on 7/14 of 2017, then promoted to patrol in 2019, and now he's a corporal, one of our great trainers on patrol. Promoted to patrol 1/17 of 2022. And Jose couldn't be here, and he didn't want me to mention his name, so nobody tell him I talked about him, okay? We have a couple 20-year person with us today. Well, only one's with us, but we got two of them. Travis Zimmerman has worked for the sheriff's office for 20 years. Travis started off in the jail, got promoted in the jail to sergeant, went to patrol, got promoted to warrants deputy, and then warrants sergeant, and now he's the captain of our division for the warrants. Does a great job for us, keeps everything in line, tries to keep us out of trouble, and tries to keep the criminals in jail. So we appreciate that, but Travis also isn't here today. Finally, we're going to talk to one of these guys that's here today. Sergeant Jason Hogue. Jason has also been with us 20 years. He gets his 20-year award today. Jason started in the jail, helped in the jail, then worked his way up patrol to the supervisor on patrol, and now runs one of our patrol teams. So he also worked all night last night. He reminded me that he was tired and to cut his 45-minute talk into a couple minutes so he can get home and get some sleep. Thank you, Jason. So he really sacrificed his sleep time so he could come up here and get this award. My next award is Scott Chalmers, 24 years. And Scott's dealing with some personal issues, so he's not here today. But he's done quite a bit for us and has been in law enforcement for quite some time. We hired him from Holcomb PD, 11/19 of 2001. He started in the jail, went to patrol, then got a canine, which is really what his love is. But we talked him out of the canine, and he moved up to corporal, then sergeant, and then he's now in investigations and now the sergeant of investigations. He still assists the canine. That's his love. That's what he wants to do. And he does a great job with it. So I only have one more to talk about, and this one might take 30 or 45 minutes. Robert, where are you? Did he? Oh, I thought you left, maybe. Well, I'm going to let Robert do all the talking because he's been here way longer than I have.
I don't have anything to say.
Robert gets 44-year pin. So he's been with the county a long time. As Gay reminded me on the way over here, he's the only person that still works with us that started over at the courthouse upstairs where the sheriff's office was umpteen years ago. Robert has done a little bit of everything for us. He thinks he's going to retire in a couple days. That's still optional. We haven't decided yet if we're letting him go. He doesn't know that yet, but we have his house staged out, and we can pick him up and bring him to work. Robert now currently is in charge of technology, but he's done a little bit of everything for the sheriff's office. Patrol, crime prevention, ran the front office, the front office supervisor, and way more. As a matter of fact, we started handing out responsibilities that Robert got, and about 10 people got responsibilities from the stuff that he was handling. So we'll all have Robert on speed dial. No, we can't because of capers, but we might anyway. So, but 44 years, Robert is the longest, right? The longest employee? No, not yet. Oh, I thought he was the longest. Never mind. He's the longest for the sheriff's office.
Stay a little longer, Robert.
But not the oldest. 44 years, Robert. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, don't leave yet.
I was told
Stay
you.
right where you are. I have a little something I'd like to read.
Oh, okay.
Robert Hahn began his distinguished service with the Finney County Sheriff's Office in 1981, stepping in as a warrant deputy. And from that very first day demonstrated the dedication and work ethic that would define his remarkable career. And through perseverance, talent, and deep commitment to excellence, Robert advanced through the ranks from warrant deputy to crime prevention officer, becoming the first crime prevention officer in Finney County. Excuse me. Yes. And Robert was later promoted to Records Administrator Sergeant, again becoming the first to hold that position, and was tasked with computerizing the Sheriff's Office, which upon approval from the County Commission successfully went live on January 1st, 1990. And 7 years later, Robert was promoted to a lieutenant rank, and the following year his title was changed to Technology Administrator Lieutenant. And in 2017, Robert was promoted to Technology Administrator Captain, a title he continues to hold today. And whereas over the course of 44 years, 8 months, and 27 days, has become the IT go-to person in the Sheriff's Office, valued for his wealth of knowledge, integrity, reliability, his straightforwardness approach, always willing to provide clear answers and ensure compliance. And whereas beyond his professional contributions, Robert is known and admired for his exceptional catering skills, his love of trains, and his active involvement with the Eagles, where he hosts an annual beef and noodle dinner, donating proceeds to the Diabetes Foundation in honor of his late father and his passion for farming and the outdoors, all of which reflect his deep sense of family, community, tradition, and generosity. And whereas Robert's retirement marks the end of an era for the Finney County Sheriff's Office, and while his presence, guidance, and institutional knowledge will deeply be missed, his legacy of excellence, mentorship, and unwavering dependability will remain an enduring part of our foundation. Now, therefore, I, Vicki Gurman, Chair of the Finney County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the day of March 27, 2026, to be Robert Hahn Day in Finney County, Kansas, and urge all residents to join us in celebrating Robert's extraordinary 44-year career, honoring his many contributions to public service, and wishing him continued happiness and fulfillment in the years to come. Congratulations, Robert, and thank you. Wow, how do you follow after that? Very impressive. Thanks, everybody, for your service. We're so blessed with dedicated and committed employees in Finney County. Next on our agenda is public comment. Is there anybody here who has something to say about anything that is not on our agenda for today? Has anyone just...
No one checked in, but Miss Brittany Martin did send an email that I did provide.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Brittany Martin. The reason, sorry, I'm a little sick today, but
why I wanted to come and talk to you guys was about, first I wanted to say thank you guys for doing a good job of promoting the Parks and Recs grant this year. I think that's why you guys received a lot of applications, because I saw it around a lot, and I think others did as well. I did send an email about that I thought that the awards that you guys selected and the groups were great, but I did notice one of the KH Life Skills had also applied for the city AFAC grant, and I noticed that it's recommended for them to receive the full funding. I think it was like $5,700 through the city, and so I wanted to see if the commission would, instead of awarding the 1,000 to the KH Life Skills, since they're already fully funded by the city, if they would disperse that 1,000 either to the organizations that they've already selected and maybe disperse it evenly through there, or if they would consider giving the 1,000 to Aim to Inspire Meliorism. So that's a proposal that I submitted. And it was in partnership with 2 other community members for 3 parks, but it's basically the zoo basketball courts, nets, and then FinUp nets, and then Ayala Park concrete, and FinUp Park concrete. But that was in collaboration with Crystal Perez. So her son was actually killed. And she had expressed that the zoo parks were something that kept her kids like out of trouble, and really just that's something that they grew up doing. I noticed that she was putting together like 5Ks and basketball, tournaments to try to raise money for, improvements to the zoo park, and also a memorial for her son. And so I'd reached out, like, what could we do as a community to kind of like help her with that, and she could use the money for, something else. And the other was Alexis Ortega. He's a high school student, and part of his high school project was when Miss Burnfin's class was to do something for the community as well, and he also mentioned basketball courts. And so the proposal is a little large. I think that's also another recommendation for next year is I think people didn't know how much to ask for, like what the limits were. So I know it was a little large proposal, but the $1,000 would help cover $212 for the nets in the zoo parks, and FinUp nets, Ayala Parks nets were already replaced by LHEAT, which is the local health equity action team that I'm a part of as well. And then the remainder would go towards Ayala, and I have been working with the city to try to get other funding. And then I would just encourage you guys, if you guys haven't read the proposal, please, look at it. And if you guys have other suggestions for funding to help with that, I'd be open to hearing about it. And then on another note, so the Havoc team, I want to say thank you guys for funding that, because my daughter is actually on the Havoc basketball team, and she's the team captain. This was their first year putting the Havoc together, and it's 3 ladies that did travel ball as youth and, grew up. One went to college, played basketball there, and have come back, in our teaching. And so that's something basketball's really helped my daughter build her leadership, responsibility, dedication, and just that hands-on experience. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. On to new business. We have a public hearing at 8:45. Looks like we're past that, but Darwin?
Good morning, Commissioners. Darwin Martwick, Appraiser's Office, Field Appraiser 3. The Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider and approve the Garden City Co-op Economic Development EDX tax abatement request and direct staff to prepare materials for submission to the Kansas Board of Tax Appeals, BOTA. Some background: Garden City Co-op has submitted an application for economic development exemption EDX tax abatement pursuant to Article 11, Section 13 in Kansas Constitution, and in accordance with the Finney County Tax Abatement Policy. The project is a business retention and expansion project within the agriculture industry and includes estimated capital investment of approximately $35 million in Finney County. Under the capital investment, the criteria outlined for Finney County tax abatement policy projects a capital investment of $25 million or more to qualify for 60% property tax abatement for a term of up to 10 years. Based on the reported investment, the project qualifies for a 60% abatement. The Tax Abatement Review Committee met on August 27, 2024, to review and the request of and the cost benefit analysis CBA prepared by the state of Kansas. The CBA projects that over a 15-year period, Finney County will receive approximately $7,497,942 in total fiscal benefits, less net benefits, with net benefits less incentives estimated with $4,754,836 and a present value of net benefits of approximately $3,043,588. The Tax Abatement Review Committee recommended to approve the Board of County Commissioners following the completion of construction and final valuation. Pursuant to the EDX tax abatement post-construction procedure, the Board of County Commissioners must hold a formal public hearing prior to approving the abatement and submitting to the application to BOTA. Notice of the public hearing was published in March 5th, 2026, and notices were sent via certified mail and email to the governing bodies of the affected tax entities, USD 363 and Garden City Community College. Following the public hearing, if approved, the board will adopt Resolution 09-2026 approving the abatement, and the county will then submit the completed BOTA Economic Development Exemption application to adopt resolution, proof of publication, final valuation documentation, Finney County Tax Abatement Policy and Memorandum of Tax Abatement Committee, and the cost benefit analysis to the Board Tax Appeals for review and in issuance of an order. Alternatives, the Board of County Commissioners may approve the adoption resolution 09-2026 approving the tax abatement for the Garden City Co-op as presented and authorized to the chair to sign. Number 2, the Board of County Commissioners may deny the adoption of resolution 09-2026. Number 3, the Board of County Commissioners may give staff further direction. Recommendation, the staff recommends alternative 1, to approve the adoption of resolution 09-2026 as presented and authorize the chair to sign. Garden City Co-op has met criteria as outlined in Finney County tax abatement policy. Fiscal and policy impact, Finney County is expected to receive approximately $7,497,942 in total fiscal benefits with net benefits less incentive, kind of a tongue twister there. Incentives and estimated as $4,754,836 and a present value of net benefits of approximately $3,043,500. Let me rephrase that. $3,043,588. The analysis also reflects a positive impact to USD 763 and the Garden City Community College. So at this time, I recommend that we go ahead and open the public hearing. In attendance today, we have Jeff Boyd with us, CEO of Garden City Co-op, and also Lana Duvall, President and CEO of Finney County Economic Development.
Madam Chairman, I move that we proceed to have a public hearing.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Anyone here have comments on this item?
Hearing none, Madam Chair, I move to close the public comment and hearing.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. All right, any other comments, commissioners?
No, I move the board to approve and adopt Resolution 09-2026, approving the tax abatement for the Garden City Co-op as presented, and authorize the chair to sign.
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And that motion carries. Next, we're gonna move to 5N. ADHE. Hi, Dana.
Good morning.
Give us your name, please. for the
My name is Dana Ontiveros, Interim Health Department Director.
Okay.
I'm here to request the local Board of Health is asked to consider and approve signing the grant application signature page for the Finney County Health Department. This form will be submitted to the Kansas Department of Health and Environment as part of the state fiscal year 2027 grant application, covering the funding period July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. The signature page form outlines the grant programs and funding requests being submitted by the Finney County Health Department to support public health services for the upcoming fiscal year. Approval and signature of the local Board of Health are required as part of the application process. Some background is the Finney County Health Department submits an annual grant application to the Kansas Department of Health and Environment to support a variety of public health programs and services provided to Finney County residents. As part of the application process, KDHE requires submission of a grant application signature page. That page outlines the grant programs and funding requests included in the application. The grant application being submitted is for state fiscal year 2027, which covers the funding period July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. The signature page summarizes the grant programs and associated funding requests that the Finney County Health Department is applying for through KDHE. The programs included in the state fiscal year 2027 grant application are as follows: the Maternal and Child Health Program, Family Planning, Immunization Action Plan, Public Health Emergency Preparedness, and State Formula Funding. These grants support essential public health services such as maternal and child health programming, reproductive health services, immunization efforts, emergency preparedness planning, and general public health infrastructure. Funding from these programs helps the health department maintain services that promote the health and well-being of Finney County residents. KDHE requires that the local Board of Health review and authorize the submission of the grant application by signing the grant application signature page. The signature confirms the board's acknowledgement and support of the grant request being submitted by the health department. Approval of this item will allow the board chair to sign the grant application signature page, enabling the Finney County Health Department to complete and submit its state fiscal year 2027 grant application to KDHE in accordance with state requirements. Alternative 1, the local Board of Health may approve the request and authorize the board chair to sign the A2 local grant application signature page for state fiscal year 2027. Alternative 2, the local Board of Health may direct the Finney County Health Department to provide edits or additional information regarding the A2 local grant application and authorize the board chair to sign the application once the request edits or additional details are deemed satisfactory. Alternative 3, the local Board of Health may decline the request and direct the Finney County Health Department not to submit a request for aid to local health funding for state fiscal year 2027. Recommendation is staff recommends alternative 1, approve the request and authorize the board chair to sign the aid to local grant application signature page for state fiscal year 2027. Fiscal policy and impact. Grant funding supports several ongoing public health programs administered by the Finney County Health Department. Approval of the signature page allows Finney County Health Department to request funding through KDHE to support these services during state fiscal year 2027.
Very good, Dana. Does anybody have any questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam, or Mr. Chairman,
We have to convene.
as the Board of Health, please. Thank you.
Okay, do we have a motion to convene as the Board of Public Health?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. And as the County Board of Health, do we have a motion?
I would move that we accept alternative 1, the local Board of Health may approve the request and authorize the board chair to sign the aid to local ATL grant application signature page for state fiscal year 2027.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries.
Motion to close the Board of Health,
Second.
And reconvene as
the County
County
Commission.
Commission. Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And that motion carries. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
And we'll back up to 5B, AFAC.
Good morning, Chair and Board of County Commissioners. I'm Danielle Berg, Deputy City Manager with the City of Garden City. The item before you this morning is consideration and approval of the distribution of AFAC funds as recommended by city and county staff. The Alcohol Fund Advisory Committee, or AFAC, was established in 1982 to advise the governing bodies of both the city and the county on the distribution of alcohol consumption tax funds. Funds for AFAC is established in state statute, which creates an alcoholic liquor fund and prescribes how those monies are to be distributed back to local units of government. In our community, cities with population of greater than 6,000, a third of the dollars are credited to the general fund, a third credited to Special Parks and Recreation Fund, and a third to the Special Alcohol and Drug Programs funded in the city treasury. The AFAC funds are split into 2 different processes. The first process, which is the one you're considering here first, is managed by staff and are for requests that are up to $6,000. Second round of applications are for all of those requests that are above $6,000, and those are reviewed by a subcommittee from the United Way Board. There were 8 applications considered under the staff process. Each of those are shown below, along with the score that each of those applications received. There was, in total for this whole grant process, $75,000 budgeted. City of Garden City is responsible for 90% of the recommended allocation, or $31,175.10, and the county would be responsible for the remaining 10% of the recommended allocation, or $3,463.90. This is slated to go before the City Commission at their meeting tomorrow. And there are 3 alternatives before you. 1, the governing body may approve the recommendation from staff to award 8 applicants. 2, the governing body may modify that recommendation. Or 3, you all may provide alternative direction. Staff recommends alternative 1. And like I mentioned in the memo, this is a 90-10 split between the city and the county. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Excellent. You have a question?
Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning.
I know this is you get a lot of applications, and this is a process, and it's hard to tell certain people no, and I appreciate the work that was put in this. However, the question I have, once the grant money is, or the money is distributed, is there a process where the recipients report back on the use of the funds and the success and or failures, hopefully none, but
Yeah, yes, there is. So everyone that receives funding, towards the end of the year, we ask them to fill out an annual report form. That indicates how those funds were spent. If they didn't spend all of the funds, then it also indicates that. And typically what we do is give them a little bit more time to kind of finish up and wrap up that particular program or that particular request. So yes, there is an annual report that they've got to put together for us.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Anybody else? I just had one question. I didn't see the application from Clemencia Zermeño. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Sure. So she actually initially requested funding through the art process. So she wants to do a mural downtown, but have the subject matter be kind of in relation to drug and alcohol prevention and education. And so when that board met, they made a recommendation to move that particular proposal out of the grant process, out from the art grant process and into the AFAC process, given the content of what's anticipated in that mural.
Okay, very nice. Thank you. Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion on this one.
Move the commission to approve the recommendation from staff to award the 8 applicants as itemized on page 175 of our agenda.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. And that motion carries. Thanks, Danielle.
You bet. I've got one more item for you. This is the process that is reviewed by the United Way, a subcommittee of the United Way Board. The background of this is the same, with the exception of the applications that were received. So we received 3 applications that exceeded $6,000. And therefore were reviewed by the United Way Board. Again, you can see the amount requested. The recommendation is to fully fund each of those organizations along with the score that they received. Again, $75,000 budgeted for this portion of the request. This is also a 90-10 split. So based on the recommendation, the city would be responsible for $61,582.50, and the county would be responsible for the remaining 10%, or $6,842.50. This will also be in front of the city commission at their meeting tomorrow. Your alternatives are the same as the last item. You all may approve the recommendation from the United Way subcommittee to award 3 applicants. You may modify that recommendation or provide staff with alternative direction. I'd be happy to answer any questions on this one as well.
Thank you. Any questions?
Madam Chair, Daniel, is this solely the United Way subcommittee, or did city and county staff have their input on this?
This was just the subcommittee from United Way.
Does staff have any different recommendations than the subcommittee?
No.
Derek?
We do not.
Very good. No other questions.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I would so move that we approve, the governing body may approve the recommendation from the United Way Board Subcommittee to award 3 applicants.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And that motion carries.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I will just make a comment. For many, many years, I was on the AFAC committee, one that she's talking about, and that committee puts in a lot of hard work in reviewing those applications and making sure that they do follow-up reports or year-end reports on how their money is spent. So I'm very familiar with that particular committee, so.
Excellent. Okay, item 5E, cleanup.
Can we go back one?
No, Parks and Rec, sorry.
I don't know. I don't know which item
Get
number
done
it is.
sooner.
Appreciate the effort, but let's go ahead and take a minute.
Good morning, Commissioners. The Board of County Commissioners is asked today to consider and approve the award for 2026 Parks and Recreation Grant Funds. Pursuant to KSA 7941A04, the state of Kansas establishes the Alcoholic Liquor Fund and prescribes the distribution of those revenues to counties. Upon receipt, counties are required to allocate funds in 3 ways. 1/3 to the county general fund, 1/3 to a special Parks and Recreation Fund, and 1/3 to a special Drug and Alcohol Programs Fund. What Danielle just presented, we'll use that last third to pay our 10% of those awards that you just approved. So all funds are deposited in the county treasury and remain under the direction and control of the Board of County Commissioners. Today's request pertains solely to the allocation of the Parks and Recreation funds. By statute, Parks and Recreation fund dollars may be expended for the purchase, establishment, maintenance, or expansion of park and recreational services, programs, and facilities. Historically, Finney County has distributed these funds to local organizations and clubs that provide qualifying recreational services, programs, or facilities consistent with the statutory requirements. For 2026, the county received 14 applications requesting a total of $199,020. This represents the highest total request in recent history. Historically, the Parks and Recreation Fund has received an average of about $10,000 per year, and as a result, the total amount requested significantly exceeds the available funding. The recommendation committee for 2026 included Commissioner Kevin Basque, myself, Sheriff Steve Martinez, County Administrator Derek Ramos, he was unable to attend, Sandra Carbajal from the Health Department, and Gabby Campos, Deputy County Clerk. The Parks and Recreation Grant Committee met on Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026 to review grant applications. The committee appreciates the thoughtful proposals submitted and the wide range of youth and community recreation opportunities presented through the application process. Unfortunately, available funds limit the county's ability to fully support all of these projects. So we have provided you a list of the recommended awards, and today your alternatives would be to accept the committee's recommendation and direct distributions to be made as presented. The Board of County Commissioners may reject the committee's recommendation and make adjustments to distributions, or the Board of County Commissioners may reject the committee's recommendation and provide staff with alternative direction. The committee itself recommends alternative 1, to accept the recommendation of the committee and direct distributions to be made as presented. There is no fiscal impact to Finney County. These funds are distributed quarterly as received from the state of Kansas. Award payouts are contingent on receipt of sufficient funds, and recipients will be contacted if we were unable to pay. So with that, I would answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Dory? Yes, sir.
Yeah, same question I asked Danielle. Is there a requirement for a report from the recipients as far as how they used success stories or failures?
Yeah, no, we have not requested that at the end of the year. However, we do have it on the application. So if they have received funds in a prior year, that they tell us how they use those funds.
Any other questions or comments?
As you can see, this particular committee, the funds that they have available are very small compared to the first two that we just read about, and that's by state statute. The first two awards are specific by statute on the type of groups that can receive those type of funds, and this one's a fairly small amount with basically for recreational purpose, where the other ones are mostly for drug and alcohol abuse or treatment and those kind of things. So as you can see, the requests were quite large this year compared to last year's. I was on last year's committee too, but I think that was just folks maybe not realizing how much money was available for this particular fund, and so there was some consideration about giving everybody and dividing it by the 10,000, and I think it was going to come out to $700 something each. We kind of felt that amount of money for the larger requests may not even come close to allowing them to complete the project, and so what we did is we narrowed it down to the smaller requests and then gave them an equal amount with the belief or understanding that would go a lot farther in helping them to achieve what they were requesting the funds for. So as you look at what we recommended and the amounts, that was kind of the thinking behind what we approved to do.
Thank you for that additional information, Commissioner. Anything else?
If I may.
Yes.
Dory, the amount of money that we're making and allocating is subject to those funds being received from the state of Kansas, correct?
That's correct.
So, would it be proper then to adopt the committee's recommendations, subject to payments being received by the state?
That would be fine. That would be,
Would you like to make that motion?
I didn't know if there was any other discussion. Madam Chair, I move the board to accept the committee's recommendation and direct distributions to be made as provided on page 222 of our agenda packet this date and as itemized in the total amount of $10,000 as and when those funds are received from the state of Kansas.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and I want to thank our staff for getting the information out there, and we had such a great response to this request. It's unfortunate we don't have more money to award, but
the communications team has been great. They've been pivotal in getting the word out on these things, and I think that's very evident here. So.
absolutely. So we do have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And that motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Mackenzie Phillips, Development and Administrative Coordinator. This morning, the Board of County Commissioners is asked to waive the $2 per ton municipal waste fee for the 2026 annual spring cleanup for the City of Garden City, City of Holcomb, and Finney County. Finney County Public Works received letters from the City of Garden City and the City of Holcomb requesting Finney County to assist in the spring cleanup program by waiving the $2 per ton municipal waste fee. The 2026 City of Garden City Spring Cleanup will last from March 30th, 2026 through April 10th, 2026. The City of Holcomb Spring Cleanup will be held on April 10th through April 17th of 2026. Staff requests that the board also waive the $2 per ton municipal waste fee for the residents of Finney County to haul unwanted items on April 3rd and April 10th of 2026. Finney County receives the $2 per ton municipal waste fee from the landfill. Waste Connection sends this money to the county on a quarterly basis. The Board of County Commissioners has waived the fee for the city cleanups in the past. There are two alternatives before you this morning. First, the Board of County Commissioners may approve the waiver of the $2 per ton municipal waste fee for the 2026 City of Garden City, City of Holcomb, and Finney County spring cleanups. Or the board may not approve the waiver for the 2026 City of Garden City, City of Holcomb, and Finney County spring cleanups. And staff recommends alternative 1 to approve the waiver for the $2 per ton municipal waste fee for the 2026 City of Garden City, City of Holcomb, and Finney County spring cleanups. For the fiscal impact, Finney County will not receive the $2 per ton municipal waste fee for any waste from these cleanups brought to the landfill. During the cleanup period, the cost for the City of Garden City, City of Holcomb, Finney County, and Finney County residents will be $1 per ton, which this is the fee that is charged by the state. And I do want to mention that after this memo was created, we did receive a request from Lance Rupp to also waive the fee for the river cleanup, which is going to be on May 2nd of 2026. And so the fee will need to be waived for May 4th, which is the day that all of the items will be gathered and then taken to the landfill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments?
I would like to make a motion that the Board of County Commissioners approve the waiver of $2 per ton municipal waste fee for 2026 City of Garden City, City of Holcomb, Finney County spring cleanups with the addition of the May date for the riverbed cleanup as mentioned.
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And that motion carries. Thanks, McKinney.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, make sure that the date is May 4th, 2026.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Abigail.
Good morning. Abigail Jarmer, planning technician. Excuse me. That wind got to me. The Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider and approve the parcel plat of the LS subdivision. Burt West with Pro Stake Surveying, on behalf of the property owner Jimmy C. Stewart, is requesting to plat the LS subdivision, generally located at 1805 North Sherlock Road. The property is zoned A Agricultural District, and the plat contains one lot totaling approximately 5 acres. There's a single-family home and a storage shed on the property. The owner is requesting to plat the property to separate the house from the agricultural land. If any addition, alterations, or remodels are proposed, the owner must rezone the property to a residential zoning district before any building permits can be issued. The third submittal of the parcel plat was presented for review on March 6, 2026, and was found to meet the minimum requirements of the zoning and subdivision regulations. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the plat at its meeting on February 19, 2026, and those minutes are attached. There are two alternatives before you today. The Board of County Commissioners may approve the parcel plat of the LS subdivision, or the Board of County Commissioners may not approve the parcel plat of the LS subdivision, and staff recommends alternative 1, approval of the parcel plat of the LS subdivision.
Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, do we have a motion on this?
Madam Chair, I move that the Board of County Commissioners approve the parcel plat of the LS subdivision.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. And that motion carries. Thanks, Abigail. Mackenzie.
Good morning again, Chair and Commissioners. So these next two items are both related, so I'm going to go ahead and read through the memos for both of these before any action is taken. And then there are members from the public here that would wish to speak on some of these items. So first is Resolution 10-2026 for a rezone request. The Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider a resolution to rezone the property generally located in the 10,000 block of North Jenny Barker Road in Finney County, Kansas. The applicant, Dwayne Palmberg with Palmberg Land Surveying Services, on behalf of the property owner, Thomas Stevenson, is requesting to rezone approximately 84.186 acres of the property generally located in the 10,000 block of North Jenny Barker Road, from A Agricultural District to RR Rural Residential District. This property is currently undergoing the plat approval process. The final plat cannot be approved by the Board of County Commissioners until the property is rezoned. The Whitetail Crossing addition is split across 10 lots ranging in size from approximately 8 to 9 acres. The Finney County Future Land Use Map designates this area as agricultural. However, the zoning regulations A Agricultural District requires a 40-acre minimum lot size, so residential zoning is more appropriate. During the plat review process, the applicant was notified that the property must be rezoned before the plat can be approved by the Board of County Commissioners. The proposed RR zoning district would allow for a single-family home to be built on each lot. The Board of County Commissioners may make its findings in accordance with the criteria outlined in Section 27.040 of the Finney County zoning regulations. And below is a complete list of that criteria. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the rezoning request on February 19th of 2026, and those meeting minutes are attached. There are 3 alternatives before you this morning, and these alternatives do come from state statute. It's KSA 12-757D. The first alternative is that the Board of County Commissioners may adopt the Planning Commission's recommendation by adopting Resolution 10-2026. The second alternative is the Board of County Commissioners may override the Planning Commission's recommendation by a 2/3 majority vote. And the third alternative is the Board of County Commissioners may return the recommendation to the Planning Commission with a statement specifying the basis for the governing body's failure to approve or disapprove. And staff recommends alternative 1 to adopt the Planning Commission's recommendation by adopting Resolution 10-2026. So next is the final plat for Whitetail Crossing. The Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider approval of the final plat of Whitetail Crossing. Dwayne Palmberg with Palmberg Land Surveying Services, on behalf of the property owner, Thomas Stevenson, is requesting approval of the final plat for Whitetail Crossing. The site is generally located in the 10,000 block of North Jenny Barker Road and is currently zoned A Agricultural District. The plat is split across 10 lots ranging from 8 to 9 acres, which are proposed for single-family residential housing. The final plat of the Whitetail Crossing was first presented to the Planning Commission on June 19th of 2025. The Planning Commission chose to table this item until the next meeting due to insufficient information about the water supply. To prove that the development would have an adequate and reliable water supply, the developer was asked to provide an affidavit that affirmatively states that sufficient water is available for the development, and that either a successful test well has been drilled on the property or a well has been successfully drilled and is currently in operation in the nearby vicinity, all within the last 5 years. The developer was unable to provide this information before the next Planning Commission meeting. On July 17th of 2025, the Planning Commission tabled this item again until the next meeting. Before that next Planning Commission meeting, the applicant chose to withdraw the request until the required information for the water supply was obtained. The developer provided an affidavit to staff on January 9th of 2026, and that affidavit is provided for you within your packet. A review of the fourth submittal was performed on February 12th of 2026, and the final plat was found to meet the minimum requirements of the Finney County zoning regulations and subdivision regulations. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the rezoning request on February 19th of 2025, and those meeting minutes are attached. There are two alternatives before you this morning. First, the Board of County Commissioners may approve the final plat of Whitetail Crossing, or second, the Board of County Commissioners may not approve the final plat of Whitetail Crossing. And staff recommends alternative 1 to approve the final plat of Whitetail Crossing.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I think we do have some members of the community here who have further information for us. If you'd like to come forward at this time.
Good morning. My name is Nicole Bryant. I just live south of the Whitetail Crossing addition. Today I would like to share some current concerns that my family and I have regarding Whitetail Crossing that we are opposed to. Water is a huge issue in our area. We own the pasture that is to the west of this property, and you can see that on Exhibit 1 on here. I'll kind of show you to give you a reference. The squiggle lines is the Whitetail Crossing, and so our pasture would be right west of that line. Let me see where we have 2 wells on our pasture. These wells will not support a home, especially the well on top of the hill. The residents on top of the hill used to get water from our well until that well started pulling sand. The well is sufficient for livestock, but is not for humans. The new property that is to the south of Whitetail is hauling water currently, and that property you can see in Exhibit 6 right here. Attached are the 2 maps showing the saturated thickness. These are the maps that we gained from the GMD. And you can see the first map is from 2026, which is number 1, and the second map is the projection for 2051, which is number 2. The black lines are the section lines, the blue lines are the grid lines, red dots are the registered wells, and like I just mentioned, the squiggle lines are the Whitetail Crossing area. As you can see, the saturated thickness projection is not good for this area. And I'll kind of I don't know on your copies if it copied real well because it's in blue, but if you'll look, I have circled these 4 right here. So if you'll go straight up Jenny Barker Road, The first one you would see on map number 1 would be 33.554. I don't know if you can see those numbers. And then if you'll find the same spot on the 2051 map, which is number 2, you'll see that it is less than 1. So I don't know if anybody has any questions on that piece. As you can see, the saturated thickness projection is not good for that area. The well that is supposed to serve this addition is in the Dakota Aquifer per the last planning and zoning meeting in February of 2026. And you can see that in number 3 on page 9. There are spacing rules for the Dakota domestic and irrigation wells. Per the affidavit, which is number 4 in your packet, it states that each lot is able to drill a well. Our question is, if the well was found in the Dakota Aquifer for this addition, is there water available in the Ogallala? If the water was found in the Dakota, then the spacing requirements may not allow for each lot to drill their own well based on the affidavit. Drilling into the Dakota is very expensive. The availability of finding water in the Dakota is very hit and miss. The quality of the water in the Dakota is very questionable, as it can be high in iron, uranium, and sulfates. We feel that this is a misrepresentation of the property when water may not be readily available. As you can see on your water maps, longevity is a question at best. Everyone thinks that 25 years is a long ways away. It is not in the grand scheme of things. I would be really upset if I purchased land to find out that my water quality was not suitable and/or I did not have a sustainable water supply. The water supply is a huge concern for all of us that live in this area of Jenny Barger Road. What happens when this area runs out of water? Are you willing to run rural water this far north from town because the state is no longer allowing permits for the Ogallala? We think there is enough water information here with this well not even being approved yet to respectfully request this to be tabled until more information can be gathered to make a solid decision. Other concerns can be found in the information shared at the first planning and zoning meeting, which is number 5, but you can read all the comments in number 3 and 5. Thank you for your time and for listening to our concerns.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning. My name is Juliette Cooper. I live in the subdivision just northeast of where the proposed subdivision is. And I am respectfully submitting this statement opposing the proposed subdivision due to the current condition and lack of maintenance on the roads. The existing roadway infrastructure is already deteriorating and insufficient to support additional traffic from a new residential development. Many of the roads in this area show clear signs of deterioration, including erosion along the ditches and inadequate drainage, which I have given packets. And you can see, I believe it's picture 4 or 5, the road elevation is now at a lower elevation than the so-called ditches. These conditions create safety concerns for the current residents and farmers, increasing the likelihood of vehicle damage and accidents. Without significant improvements and consistent maintenance, adding more traffic from a new subdivision will only accelerate the road degradation and further compromise public safety. As some of you may be aware, a gentleman hit a pothole on June 13th of 2023, rolled his vehicle 3 times, ejecting him, and he later succumbed to those injuries. Since this, the road has only continued to deteriorate. There are multiple pictures showing what the road looks like when it rains, that it continues to hold water because there is no drainage. Additionally, emergency access is negatively affected because of the road conditions. Emergency vehicles must have reliable and safe routes to respond quickly to these calls. Poor road quality can delay those response times and place residents at risk, in which we do have elderly residents in our subdivision. Approving new development before these infrastructure issues would place an unfair burden on current residents and local government resources. Responsible planning would ensure that roads are properly repaired, maintained, and capable of handling increased traffic before approving this housing development. For these reasons, I strongly urge you to table this until you have more information. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? So this has been a challenging one for the Planning Commission. And in my view, there is evidence that we might want to take a step back, table this, and look into it. It seems like there are issues with the water. If I know that he did drill a well, the gentleman who's proposing this, is he here today?
He's not here today.
And that well was in the Dakota aquifer, which, to my understanding, you cannot drill into the Dakota within 4 miles of another well that is in that aquifer, which would significantly burden the residents living out there if they were to have trouble with their wells. So I think this is a conundrum. I believe we should probably look into this further before making any determination whether we want to continue this. Also, the roads, obviously, looking at these pictures, it does not look, in my opinion, it does not look like this would stand up to more traffic on that road.
Madam Chair, I respectfully disagree. We're open for business in this county, and this is a development that's been in the works for quite a while. I've traveled up there and looked at this development. The neighbors to the north have concerns about usage. I get that. There's 17, 18 homes up there on that part of the road, and this is Jenny Barker Extended. And it's always been a problem, and considerable work will have to be done by Public Works. But to tell a developer that we're not open for business, this commission is not in charge of water or water wells. I'm unaware of any restriction of domestic wells in the Ogallala aquifer, as long as they meet the spacing requirements. Whether or not there's water or not, as reflected by members Christ and Hannigan on the Planning Commission, they've met the requirements. The landowner to the west owns a large pasture and has domestic water wells there. There's not a priority dispute. I understand the landowner's concern. This is a substantial investment of money in our community, and I think that we should follow the recommendations of the Planning Commission. The vote there was 7-1.
It's my understanding that there's a resident out there who has drilled 3 times to get water, and when he finally did, he still was not able to get enough to support his household and is having to haul water in.
Madam Chair, if we could have Larry come up and speak about the roads. I understand, and I concur with Commissioner Schultz on the water, but I'm more concerned on the fiscal impact the county will have to try to get those roads up to where they need to be. For emergency services to get through there, looking at those roads, whenever we do get some rain, I'm concerned about that. Larry, could you speak on that, please?
Right, and we have had, we have a new operator in that section that's been more proactive trying to get, we've been blading on that road a lot more. I didn't have a chance to get a record of how often we've been on there. You can notice that there is a big pile of one of the pictures shows a big pile of windrow that have a tape measure on it. I'm assuming that's probably after one of those heavy rains. We probably bladed that off there because it was nothing but mud. You can see all the gravel that's in there. We've also had one of our operators that is requested to go in that area, he is here today. He actually gets requested to go over there. So we have been working since, all the heavy rain in August, trying to get that road straightened out. Now, we need to look at what it's gonna take to reestablish the ditches. We need to reestablish and get some better drainage in there. But we have been working on that road. I do have some video of the guys that drove that road after the last time it was bladed. I don't have it with me right now, but we have been working on that. But we are aware that it does need, there is some areas in there that there's no ditches, the fields are actually higher than the road. But we have been working on it and making it a priority.
Okay, thank you.
So it is, I mean, it's doable, fixable, something that you're continuing to work on.
Yes, yeah, if you pull that entire windrow out at one time, it's gonna be like driving in the riverbed. You know, we pull it out a little bit at a time so you can get some compaction on it. It doesn't fix the fact that there are some areas out there that does need to have some of the ditches reestablished. That's a project that we can put together and actually go out there and try to pull some of the material out. If there is, if it's sandy, you know, I'm not sure, and I'm going off of just what I was given this morning. We can probably haul some of the material out of there. I do know that in the past we've put millings in there also to try to firm that up. Well, and what they do is just like a blacktop road. They pothole, and then it's harder to blade. And I'm sure that James could attest to this. So there are some things that we can do out there, and we have been working on it. And we've made it a lot more. We've made it a priority.
Thank you, Larry.
You bet.
Thank your staff as well. Appreciate it.
And just for awareness for the commission, the Public Works is starting to engage with engineering firms to do a road assessment and then a maintenance plan. And then that way we can prioritize it and build our budgets based off of that assessment.
Thank you, Derek.
Can I add something?
Yes, ma'am.
In regards to your comments about the water, yes, we do have, our wells in our pasture are in the Ogallala. However, the gentleman that is to the south of there that has built the new barn dominium, several attempts were made to drill at his property, I believe, into the Ogallala. I'm not sure, I don't have the data. I don't think that he went to the Dakota. But several attempts were made at his property, and like we had stated, he is hauling water to that property. Where the well is currently on the Whitetail Crossing is in the Dakota, and from what we've been told, there were several attempts to make it there, to even get to the Dakota. I don't have all of that data. We're still working on that data together, but the concern is going forward. So today there is water, but as you can see on the maps, in 25 years, it's not good at all. And they're in the process, you know, of working on reducing pumping, you know, out here. I'm sure you all are aware of that, to meet, you know, the state statute or whatnot that has been put in place. As far as domestic wells go in the Dakota, after talking to the GMD, the spacing requirement on that is a half a mile. So this well would take precedence. So then anybody else that runs out of water and wants to try to get to the Dakota is a half a mile away. And so as you can see from the map, then we're all have to be half a mile spaced apart. So that's where it becomes the concern, because again, finding the water is very hit and miss, because we don't have as much research on the Dakota aquifer as there is on the Ogallala. Then finding quality of water is also a huge concern, and trying, you know, to hit those holes, and it's very expensive to do. So I don't know if you have any more questions about that.
I believe, are the residents in your neighborhood sharing wells currently?
Yes, she can speak about that piece.
I am the current well owner for Prairie Grass Edition. We have 7 homes on that particular well, 8 homes, excuse me, for it to be considered a non-public water source, and that's where we continue to keep it. That was the recommendation from GMD and DWR. Our well is a current, it's labeled as an irrigation water right. We purchased this well 4 years ago, so it was already established. It will currently pump 16 gallon per minute. We have an 8,000 gallon holding tank that we keep filled at all times. In the summer, there are times that we run it. I mean, in the summer, more or less from April until August, it runs pretty much 24/7. There are times that it will run out because of the usage. And at that point, we have to shut it down and let it rise to elevation for a minimum of 4 hours. If it continues at this pace, we will have to put in a larger downhole pump. But at the moment, we have not looked at that. And the information that we did receive on this Dakota well that the gentleman drilled, it is only procuring 20 gallon per minute. And I don't believe that Nicole mentioned it, or I don't know if there's pictures in there, but I took pictures. The gentleman has also ran water lines from this one well to every lot on the home with meters. So I don't know if he is planning to, if the property owners can't get water, trying to put all of them on one well. That one well will only give enough water for 2 homes at the 20 gallon per minute. So, but we are still working on the unsuccessful well drilling attempts and the information for those as far as the location on the property.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Madam Chair, I move the commissioners adopt the planning commission's recommendations and adopt resolution 1026.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Nay.
Nay.
Looks like we are at an impasse. Since we don't have Commissioner Jones here. Shall we table this?
I believe you return it to the planning commission for discussion.
Turn it to the planning commission? Okay. Do we need a motion to that effect?
Respectfully, Mr. Administrator and Madam Chair, I don't want to return it back to the planning commission. I think we take it up at our next commission meeting when we have a full slate of commissioners, and we'll take it up at that time. I don't think you can get a majority of the commission to send it back to the planning commission.
My reasoning for voting no on the resolution is I'm a little concerned about people buying properties out there and building their houses and then not having a valid source of water. It sounds like current residences out there are having a similar issue with that. And I'm just wondering if that somehow might come back on. Well, I'm not sure that it would come back on the county if we approved it, but I'm just concerned about somebody buying a property out there, building a house with the expectation of having water whenever they want water and then not being able to get it. That's my thinking of why I voted no. And I know that we're open for business and everything, but I'm also wondering at what point do we look out after our property owners and their investment, which they would have an investment in building a home out there, of having some protection for them, so that somewhere down the road, however many months or years that it might be, that they don't have water available and they decided to locate out there so that they could live a comfortable life and then not be able to because of water. That's my thoughts about why I voted no.
In addition, there was concern for the quality of the water, and I reached out to Dwayne Palmberg twice. He told me, I was at the planning commission meeting, and he told me that the property owner would be willing to test the water for quality, and I had not heard anything. I reached out to him toward the end of last week, and he said yes, that the owner was going to test the quality, and we have heard nothing for today's meeting. That was a concern. I contacted Planning Commission Chairperson Ann Liker after that meeting. She was the only abstaining vote, and asked her why her vote was against it, and that was one thing that she said, that the quality, and according to Mackenzie, we are responsible to make sure that the water passes the quality test.
One of the criteria for the standards for approval of a preliminary plat, which the preliminary plat is only approved, it only goes before the planning commission, and they give final approval of that. So one of the standards does say that there is definite provision has been made for a water supply system that is sufficient in terms of quantity, dependability, and quality to provide an appropriate supply of water for the type of subdivision proposed.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
To be clear, the planning commission voted 6-1 in favor of this rezoning request, correct?
Correct.
And on the next item on our agenda, the planning commission voted to recommend approval of the final plat. Correct?
Correct.
Same 6-1 vote.
And they had no concerns about the availability of water for people who might build.
There was some discussion. They asked a couple of questions about if it was a Dakota well, if the question of if they can make the determination based off the quality was brought up as well. And I apologize, it was actually a 7-1 vote, Commissioner Schultz. So there were some discussions, and after all the discussions, 7 of the 8 members present that day did decide that it was sufficient.
So in 5 years, if people build houses out there in 5 years and their water comes in at a trickle, or they have to wait hours at a time before they can use water, are they going to go back and complain to the zoning commission about, or the planning commission about the lack of water and why they were allowed to build out there? Or will they come back to us saying, why did you allow us to be able to build out there when there was no water available?
I would refer that question probably to our county counselor.
Well, it's
but
more or less kind of a comment, not necessarily needing an answer. I'm just speaking out loud to what my thoughts are right now, so.
And so one of the items that was discussed at the planning commission meeting was about the legal affidavit. So staff determined that, so we don't have staff to test whether this is actually quality water. We don't have the expertise within our department to be able to determine if it's quality or not. So when it was discussed of what can we have the developer provide in order for us to at least give something showing that it's putting it back on the developer in this way of the developer is legally saying that, hey, there is sufficient water here and it's not our determination as staff to make.
I would not mind getting more information about this and maybe re-discussing this at our next meeting, but unless I get some more definitive answers about the future of availability of water, out there, I may reconsider, but right now I'm looking out for the people who live out there now and also any potential homeowner that may move out there. If I was going to move out there and the developer told me I was going to have good water for 20 years and I wasn't going to have it, or if it was going to come out of a trickle, then I might felt like I was misled or something, and maybe that's not necessarily what's happening here, but I would certainly hope that if I was building something there that I would have good water and pressure, good water pressure for some time. So anyway, I would just like more information.
And so going along with the more information, just so that we can pass this along to the developer so that they know exactly what they're expected to provide. If it could be stated, if there is a motion to table it, what specific information you would like to see.
I would like to make a motion to table this until the next meeting and get more information about the assurance of not necessarily water quality, although I am in that, but just water itself, the availability of water itself down the road.
Okay.
So we have another motion.
That's the motion.
Do you
Do you have a, I guess my question would be, do you have a form that you want that information, I mean, from this landowner, to be able to provide that about this assurance that water is available? I mean, is there something specific that you're looking for from this landowner?
Well, we have residences that live out in that area right now that have provided us with information, documentation about, in their view, lack of water. I guess I would like some information that would be, be a different argument than that particular argument. But right now, with what's provided, I would tend to side with the homeowners that live out there now about what their comments are. And I don't know if that clears that up for you or anything like that. But
It just seems like there's enough question as to whether there's enough water that we should at least look into it.
I mean, I kind of, Commissioner Schultz, I get his thinking behind it is maybe perhaps that's not the duty of this commission to decide on the water thing, just on the development and that they meet all of the criteria and that they have a 7-1 vote. But for some reason, just in the back of my mind, I'm a little bit concerned about the availability of water for those that live out there, but also for future development. I just can't get that out of the back of my head, although I do get where he's coming from, where we just approve what's all of the official things that have been done, the approved things that have been done, and then whatever water issues that come up, that's the developer and the homeowner's responsibility, I guess, and not ours. But I just can't get it out of my mind that somewhat we're responsible for that. If we're going to take this type of action, that we have some responsibility towards that.
Madam Chair, there's not been a second to the motion. Does the motion fail for lack of a second?
Yes.
Madam Chair, I won't move to table it because we're 2-2 split. We can put it on the agenda for next time.
Do we have a second to that motion?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. And that carries.
And sorry, just for clarification, because since there was 2 separate items, was that the tabling the rezoning, and then we would need an additional motion for tabling the other item as well, if that's what the board chooses to.
Tabling.
Okay.
Mackenzie, I'll also, and to help you out, move to place the final plat of Whitetail Crossing because it's moot unless we approve the rezoning request, which we did not do. So, Madam Chair, I move that we move item 5L to the next meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And that motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mackenzie. And next we have some chip sealing. 5H, Larry.
Good morning again. Larry Brungart, Interim Road and Bridge Director. This morning, the Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider and approve awarding the bids for the 2026 CMA Sand and Gravel and Chip Sealing Project. The Public Works Department plans on chip sealing approximately 42 miles of county roads for the 2026 chip sealing project. The bidding process for the county's chip sealing is comprised of 2 steps. Number 1, bid for the CMA sand gravel cover material. And number 2, bid for the chip sealing contracted work, which includes the pricing for the seal coat, emulsified asphalt, and traffic control. On January 27, 2026, the Public Works Department advertised bids for the CMA sand and gravel and the contracted work for the 2026 chip sealing. The bids for the CMA sand and gravel were opened at 10 o'clock a.m. on February 27th at the Public Works office. Bids were submitted from 2 companies. Number 1, Uber Sand for $170,386 for 75 tons of CMA material to be delivered on site. Number 2, Clot Sand Company for $205,631.40 for 7,500 tons of CMA material to be delivered on site. The bids for the chip sealing contracted work were opened at 10:30 on February 27th, 2026 at the Public Works Office. Bids were submitted from 3 companies. Number 1, B&H Paving Incorporated for $748,690.06 to chip seal 42 miles of county roads. Vance Brothers LLC for $792,813.42 to chip seal 42 miles of county roads. And number 3, APAC Kansas Incorporated for $903,861.14 to chip seal 42 miles of county roads. The alternatives, there are 2 action items on the Board of County Commissioners to consider. Action number 1, the board may accept the bid from Huber Sand for $170,386 for 7,500 tons of CNA sand and gravel. Or number 2, the board may accept the bid from Klotz Sand Company Incorporated for $205,631.40 for 7,500 tons of CMA sand and gravel. Or number 3, the board may reject all bids and provide staff with further direction. Action number 2, the board may accept the bid from B&H Paving Incorporated for $748,690.06 and approve the chair to sign the contract. Number 2, the board may accept the bid from Vance Brothers LLC for $792,813.42 and approve the chair to sign the contract. Number 3, the board may accept the bid from APAC Kansas Incorporated for $903,861.14 and approve the chair to sign the contract. Or number 4, the board may reject all bids and provide staff with further direction. Recommendations on action number 1, staff recommends alternative number 1, accept the bid from Huber Sand for $170,386 for 7,500 tons of CMA material to be paid out of the Road and Bridge Fund. And on action number 2, staff recommends alternative number 1, accept the bid from B&H Paving Incorporated for $748,690.06 to be paid out of the Road and Bridge Fund and approve the chair to sign the contract. Fiscal and policy impact, if approved as recommended, the total cost of the 2026 chip sealing project will be $919,076.06, $170,386 for the CMA sand and gravel, and $748,690.06 for the contracted work. The total of $1,144,000, which was $155,000 for the CMA sand and gravel, and $989,000 for the contracted work was budgeted in the 2026 Road and Bridge Fund GL number 002-21-5428 for the 2026 chip sealing project.
That it?
That's it.
Anybody have any questions?
I was just wondering if we can make one motion that would cover both actions, or do we need to have 2 separate motions?
I think it requires 2.
Yeah.
I would like to move that on action 1 that we approve alternative number 1.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And that motion carries. Do we have another motion?
I would like to move on action 2 that we approve alternative 1, accept the bid of B&H Paving for $748,690.06 and approve the chair to sign the contract.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And that motion carries as well.
Thank you.
There. Next, we have Jerry.
Morning, Commissioners. In front of you today, the Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider and approve the 2026 herbicide bids. Each year, the noxious weed department sends out requests for bids on state-approved herbicides used for noxious weed control. Distributors in the area invited to submit bids for specialty chemical pricing, and some herbicides are available at state set pricing. These chemicals are then distributed to landowners within Finney County to assist with the control of noxious weeds. We strive to carry all herbicides listed for noxious weed control. Also, landowners have access to products that are effective at various growing stages, improving overall eradication efforts. In the past, the board has been asked to approve any and all bids received in order to allow the department to follow manufacturer recommendations more effectively. This process also helps address the growing demand for herbicides, as well as issues related to availability and pricing, ensuring we can continue to serve landowners effectively. All herbicides are sold at 75% of the department's cost, plus an additional 10% to cover storage and handling fees. These chemical sales allow staff to assist customers with questions while also benefiting taxpayers by helping ensure measures are in place to control and reduce the total acreage of noxious weeds infestations. Our goal with this sales is to support all landowners within Finney County by helping identify noxious weeds, providing guidance and information, and supplying the products needed for proper control. According to KSA 2-1322C, the Board of County Commissioners of a county that funds its noxious weed program from the general fund shall sell chemical materials to landowners within its jurisdiction who have been assessed a county tax. The price is set to the board in an amount equal to no less than 50% and no more than 75% of the total cost accruing to the county in purchasing, storing, and handling such chemical materials used in the control and eradication of noxious weeds. The board may also charge for the use of machines, equipment, and operators as deemed necessary to cover the actual cost of operation. However, once the tax leveling body of a county, city, or township has appropriated a budget equivalent to 1.5 mils or more, the Board of County Commissioners may collect from landowners the amount equal to 75%, but no more than 100% of the total cost secured for purchasing, storing, and handling chemical materials used to control eradication of noxious weeds. The Noxious Weed Department advertised for the 2026 herbicide bids on January 28th of 2026. These herbicides will be used for the 2026 spraying season and chemical sale program. Bids were opened on February 27th of 2026 at 11 a.m. at the Public Works Office. Bids were received from Van Dees Chemical Supply Company and Nutrigen Solutions. It was noted within the bid specifications that each item would be considered separately. The alternative number one, the Board of County Commissioners may approve both of the 2026 herbicide bids. The Board of County Commissioners may approve the 2026 Nutrigen Solution bid only. Number three, the Board of County Commissioners may approve the 2026 Van Dees Chemical Company's bid only. And number four, the Board of County Commissioners may deny both of the 2026 herbicide bids and give staff further direction. Staff recommends alternative one, that the Board of County Commissioners may approve both of the 2026 herbicide bids. Approving both bids will allow the county to order each chemical separately based on the low bid and availability. The fiscal impact, $225,500 has been allocated in the 2026 noxious weed budget under 050-050-5207.
Any questions for Jerry? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
I would move that we accept alternative one. The Board of County Commissioners may approve both of the 2026 herbicide bids.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And that motion carries.
Thank you.
Next is 5K, Nolan.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. The The Board of County Commission is asked to consider and approve the bid for contracted 2026 mowing, trimming, and grounds treatment services for Finney County facilities. A little background, on Thursday, February 12th, Finney County Building Maintenance issued a request for bids, RFB, for contracted mowing, trimming, edging, and grounds treatment services for designated county facilities totaling approximately 4.7 acres of maintained grounds. Sealed bids were due by Friday, March 6th at 1 p.m. 6 total bids were received. Several bidders did not include pricing for treatment services outlined in the bid documents. Below is a brief summary, but a full detailed bid tabulation is attached to your packet. Workforce Partners came in with a grand max total bid of $43,883.20. Tim's Lawn Care, max total bid, $44,616.80. Gas Lawn Pros, $45,310. A&E Lawn Care, $52,305. Huck's Services, $59,070 for their total, and then Mike's Tree Service was $59,070 for their grand total. After review, the bid submissions, the following notes were identified. Tim's Lawn Care included just the price sheet in their packet. Gas Lawn Pros had their price sheet, insurance documentations, licenses, and references. They also indicated that they would bag all the clippings to make it more presentable. Huck Services included their price sheet. They did not have treatment services available. Workforce Partners provided price sheet, references, and information on additional services that they offered. Mike's Tree Service had their price sheet but did not have treatment services included. A&E Lawn Care included their price sheet, references, licensing document, but they did not have treatment services available. So after reviewing the submissions of completeness and cost, only 3 bidders we felt provided the full scope of the work for RFB mowing, trimming, and grounds treatment services. That included Tim's Lawn Care, Gas Lawn Pros, and Workforce Partners. So I have 4 alternatives in front of you today. The Board of County Commissioners may approve or award Workforce Partners for the 2026 mowing, trimming, grounds treatment bid at a maximum cost of $43,883.20. Alternative 2, the Board of County Commissioners may approve and award Tim's Lawn Care for the 2026 mowing, trimming, grounds treatment bid at a maximum cost of $44,616.80. Alternative 3, the Board of County Commissioners may approve or award Gas Lawn Pros for the 2026 mowing, trimming, and grounds treatment bid at a maximum cost of $45,310. And then the 4th alternative, the Board of County Commissioners may deny all bidders and give staff recommendation on next steps. Recommendation from staff is alternative 1, that the Board of County Commissioners approve Workforce Partners for the 2026 mowing, trimming, and grounds treatment bid at a maximum cost of $43,883.20. Fiscal impact, the Building Maintenance Department has an approved budget of $63,000 for their groundskeeping in 2026. Last year, the contracted mowing, trimming, and grounds treatment totaled $40,671. That's due to, we had 33 weeks included in this, and they don't mow every single week depending on if it's irrigated or if we don't get any rain. Who knows if they're even mow for a couple weeks, but that's the reason why it came in a little cheaper, and I anticipate this would possibly be the case again this year, but I'm open to any questions.
Nolan, I have a question. Are all 3 of these local?
Gas Lawn Pros is based out of Liberal. Tim's Lawn Care and Workforce Partners do have a mailing address here, so I assume those 2 are here.
I just know that Tim is in my neighborhood, so always like to use local if we can. Yes.
I understand the difference in bid is $400, and it's basically in the treatment costs and application.
Yeah, I think.
My second question is, Tim had the contract last year, and are you satisfied with the work that was done?
We were satisfied. I'm not sure if there was a contract signed last year. They did not go out for bid. It just awarded the work. But yes, we were satisfied.
Are you satisfied with
Yes,
the
sir.
service? And the $400, is it material on a $44,000 contract?
The difference of, can you repeat that question for me, Jerry?
Yeah,
Mr. Schultz.
Appears to me the difference is,
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yes, it's,
$10 of treatment and $400 worth of treatment applications. Or $10 difference in mowing and $400 in treatment.
yes.
Difference in the price.
So Tim uses, I think his difference is his treatment services. He subs his treatment. He doesn't have an applicator license. And he did say the price was going up just a little bit this year. But I think that's your difference right there. But our goal is to eventually adopt this back on our staff. We're hoping once the remodel for the LEC kind of gets moving, and we're not over there, feels like every day, where hopefully we can take it back and have it in-house, kind of like we did 3 or 4 years ago with, I don't know his last name, but Tim was the gentleman's name that did all the mowing and groundskeeping and irrigation. We'll still take on the irrigation repairs and landscaping beds, but this just alleviates some time to focus on the LEC and the JDC issues.
Any other comments?
Derek or Dory, do we have it in our policy where we have a bid maybe a little bit higher, but if it's a local bidder, where we percentage?
We do not have a local preference in our purchasing policy.
But you thought Workforce Partners was local?
They have a PO box here. They do, in the references, Sam's Club was the big one, and then they had a couple feed yards that they do. Tim's Lawn Care, it's Tim Long. He does a handful of locations too. He didn't provide references, but we are aware that he does rentals and that sort of thing. And then Gas Lawn Pros is out of Liberal, but they do the Shulman Crossing, Menards, Ranch House, a few other locations.
Tim's been doing lawn care business a long time, probably doesn't need a reference. Madam Chair, I move the Board of County Commissioners approve Tim's Lawn Care's bid proposal for 2026 mowing, trimming, and grounds treatment at a maximum cost of $44,616.80.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And that motion carries.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners.
I am in need of a break, so if we could take maybe perhaps a 10-minute break, reconvene around 10:40. reconvene, and next up is, what do we have, treasurer office closure?
No.
Or, oh,
5L.
community corrections, okay, 5L.
Good morning, Stephanie Roush, Finney County Department of Corrections Adult and Youth Services Deputy Director. This morning, the Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider and approve the purchase of 3 vehicles by the Finney County Department of Corrections, Community Corrections and Youth Services. The Finney County Department of Corrections, Community Corrections and Youth Services is requesting to purchase 3 vehicles for the agency. 1 will be purchased for Community Corrections. The remaining 2 will be purchased for Youth Services. The agency is in the process of developing a vehicle replacement schedule. The agency has FY26 grant funds in both Community Corrections and Youth Services that are allocated toward the purchase of vehicles for both departments within the Finney County Department of Corrections. It is more cost-effective for the agency to purchase a vehicle outright versus leasing a vehicle due to the unknowns of funding from each fiscal year due to being grant funded. Youth Services currently has a 2017 Dodge Caravan with 87,281 miles and a 2015 Ford Fusion with 71,798 miles. Both vehicles have wear and tear both on the interior and exterior. There is trim that has fallen off the Dodge Caravan, and the Ford Fusion has some cracks in the dash. The agency will seek to place these 2 vehicles in auction once the new ones are purchased. The agency will be replacing 1 vehicle for Community Corrections. This vehicle is a 2012 Chevy Cruze with 75,026 miles. This vehicle has wear and tear both on the interior and exterior. This vehicle is smaller, and there are concerns for highway travel. The agency will also seek to place this vehicle in the auction once the new one is purchased. Both Community Corrections and Youth Services cover 6 counties within our judicial district. This is approximately 210 miles round trip. Staff travels at least 1 time weekly within our jurisdiction to meet with clients and attend court hearings as needed. Oftentimes, these items are scheduled for the same day in different locations. Due to traveling in winter months and possibility of adverse weather conditions, the agency is requesting an all-wheel drive SUV crossover for improved safety and better stability. The agency sent bid requests to 8 different dealerships. They were sent to the following: Lewis Motors of Garden City, Lewis Motors Toyota of Garden City, Lewis Motors of Dodge City, Robert Brogdon's GMC of Garden City, Legacy Auto of Garden City, Burtis Motors of Garden City, J&R Truck Center of Scott City, and McCarthy Chevrolet of Olathe. Excuse me. The bid specs asked for 3 new or used, small, mid-size, all-wheel drive SUV crossovers with under 30,000 miles. Legacy Auto of Garden City was the only dealership that submitted vehicle bids per bid request. Provided within Legacy Auto bid were 9 vehicle options. The other 7 dealerships did not submit bids. The agency was able to follow up with 5 of those dealerships about not receiving bids. These dealerships did not submit bids because of the following: no availability, lack of inventory after the first of the year, unable to hold vehicles, and 1 dealership had misplaced the bid and found it after the bid window had closed. Ranked in order of recommendation are the following: 1, 2025 all-wheel drive Hyundai Tucson 5D wagon SEL convenience, 0 miles, of a final price of $37,408. 2, a 2026 all-wheel drive Hyundai Kona 5D wagon SEL Sport, 0 miles, for a final price of $31,128. 3, a 2026 all-wheel drive Hyundai Kona 5D wagon SEL Sport, miles 0, final price $31,128. 4, a 2026 all-wheel drive Hyundai Kona 5D wagon SEL Premium, miles 0, final price $33,073. 5, a 2025 all-wheel drive Ford Escape 4D wagon Platinum, miles 14,774, with a final price of $33,718. 6, a 2025 all-wheel drive Ford Escape 4D wagon Line Select, miles 14,757, for a final price of $25,718. 7, a 2026 Hyundai Venue 5D wagon SEL miles 0, final price $25,518. 8, 2024 all-wheel drive BMW X1 5D wagon X Drive 28i, miles 25,338, final price $33,335. 9, a 2026 front-wheel drive Hyundai Kona 5D wagon SEL Sport, miles 0, final price $29,698. The alternatives today: 1, the Board of County Commissioners may accept the agency's bid recommendations for 3 vehicles, including the 2025 Hyundai Tucson all-wheel drive for $37,408, the 2026 Hyundai Kona all-wheel drive for $31,128, and the 2026 Hyundai Kona all-wheel drive for $31,128. Alternative 2, the Board of County Commissioners may reject the agency's recommendations for 8 vehicles and may pick the vehicle recommendations of their choosing from the bids received. 3, the Board of County Commissioners may reject the agency's recommendation for vehicle bids and have the agency go back out for new bids. Recommendation: the agency recommends alternative 1. The Board of County Commissioners may accept the agency's bid recommendations for 3 vehicles, including the 2025 Hyundai Tucson all-wheel drive for $37,408, the 2026 Hyundai Kona all-wheel drive for $31,128, and the 2026 Hyundai Kona all-wheel drive for $31,128. The agency recommends that if any of the top 3 vehicles received have sold, that the agency can continue down to the next available option that was provided within the original bid until all 3 vehicles are purchased. Fiscal policy impact: the Finney County Department of Corrections, Community Corrections, and Youth Services have grant funds allocated for the purchases of vehicles out of the Kansas Department of Corrections FY26 grant that was received. These funds are held in Adult Corrections GL 075-75-6583-00079 with a balance of $40,000. Remaining balance after purchase will be $2,592. The second account is IIP Juvenile Youth Services, GL 078-78-6583-00074 with a balance of $40,000. Remaining balance after purchase will be $8,872. The final account is JISP Youth Services, GL 078-78-6583-00071 with a balance of $40,000. The remaining balance after purchase will be $8,872, and there is no fiscal impact to Finney County.
Very good.
Madam
Any-
Chair.
Yes.
You're buying these from Legacy?
Legacy Auto, yes.
All right, and are you aware that they just acquired the Hyundai dealership?
Yes.
And then we'll be able to service and maintain these vehicles with a local dealer?
To my understanding.
Yes, I know that for a fact.
All right, cool, thank you. And Derek, do you believe it's in our best interest to go ahead and buy the one more expensive vehicle rather than going with other models? This one is Tucson, which is a much bigger vehicle than the Kona is.
I do. I think with the safety of where they're traveling during the winter months and then having 0 miles is worth it.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
I would make a motion that we approve alternative 1.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And that motion carries.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Now we have the treasurer's office. Hi, Trista.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Trista Joyce, County Treasurer. So the Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider closing the Finney County Treasurer's office on April 15th, 2026 to allow staff to attend the spring 2026 meeting of the Southwest Kansas Treasurers Association. The Southwest Kansas Treasurers Association is comprised of 19 counties in Southwest Kansas and meets semi-annually. A member county is selected to host each meeting according to an alphabetical rotation. Finney County will host the Spring 2026 meeting on April 15th, 2026 at Fire Station 3 in Garden City, Kansas. Representatives from the Kansas Department of Revenue attend each meeting of the Southwest Kansas Treasurers Association to provide education about legislation, emerging fraud patterns, and systematic upgrades which impact the Treasurer's Office. Meetings held outside of Finney County are attended by the Treasurer and Deputy Treasurer only in order to ensure proper staffing of the Treasurer's Office. Approval of this office closure will allow all Treasurer's Office staff to attend the Spring 2026 meeting of the Southwest Kansas Treasurers Association and receive training from the Kansas Department of Revenue without travel expense. KSA 19-2601 requires county offices to open on days fixed by the Board of County Commissioners. The Finney County Treasurer's Office is open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday, excluding approved holidays as designated by the Board of County Commissioners. If approved, this closure would occur on a regular business day. The alternatives before you are that 1, the Board of County Commissioners may approve the closure of the Finney County Treasurer's Office on April 15th, 2026, or 2, the Board of County Commissioners may deny the closure of the Finney County Treasurer's Office on April 15th, 2026. Staff recommends alternative 1, the Board of County Commissioners approve the closure of the Finney County Treasurer's Office on April 15th, 2026. Fiscal and policy impact are $100 for lunch for 10 employees, which are not covered by our regular association dues. So those employees of the Treasurer's Office, and that will be paid from the Motor Vehicle Operating Fund, which is General Ledger 818-00-5234. Training of this nature aligns with the Board of County Commissioners' goal of investing in Finney County employees as stated in the governance model adopted at the May 19th, 2025 meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. Does anybody have any questions?
Enjoy your seminar, the motion's coming.
Would anyone like to make that motion?
I would. I would move that we approve alternative 1, allow them to close Finney County Treasurer's Office on April 15th, 2026.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And that motion carries.
Thank you.
Madam Treasurer, before you go,
Yes.
We have this really cool website. Publish it that you're going to be closed.
Absolutely, we will work with the communications team to get the word out there. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Commissioners. The Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider a request from the Towns Riverview Homeowners Association seeking exemption from certain Sewer District 3 assessments. The Towns Riverview Homeowners Association, HOA, submitted a written request to the Finney County Board of County Commissioners requesting an exemption from the Sewer District Number 3 assessment and user fee for property owned by the HOA within the district. The request was submitted to the County Administrator's Office and asked the Board to consider the exemption pursuant to KSA 19-27172, which provides the Board discretion to exempt property within a sewer district if the Board determines the property does not benefit from the sewer improvements. The property identified in the request is described as Towns Riverview Sub 442, Section 23, Township 24, Range 32, Tract C, consisting of approximately 2.6 acres located within Sewer District Number 3. According to the HOA's letter, the property serves as green space within the subdivision and includes the picnic area, attached tennis courts, and pond area located north of the picnic area. The HOA also notes the green space includes a significant natural depression in the northern portion, which limits the feasibility of any development or structural improvements. The HOA states the property will not be connected to the sewer system and will not benefit from the sewer improvements constructed as part of Sewer District Number 3. 2 separate charges currently apply to properties located within Sewer District Number 3. The first is the bond assessment, which was established to repay the bonds issued for construction of the sewer infrastructure serving the district. Under Resolution 07-2002, the total bond assessment originally apportioned to this parcel was $7,836.59, and it was structured over a 40-year repayment period at 5% interest. To date, approximately $2,925.79 in principal has been paid, leaving an outstanding principal balance of $4,910.80. The current annual bond assessment payment for the parcel is $445.09. If the Board were to exempt the parcel from the bond assessment, The remaining balance would need to be redistributed among the properties within Sewer District Number 3 through a reapportionment of the district assessments. The second charge is the annual sewer fee, which was established through Resolution 23-2001 for the availability of sewer service within the district. The current annual fee is $480 with a 10% discount available for on-time payment. Several parcels within district have previously been granted exemptions from the sewer user fee when it is determined the property does not utilize or directly benefit from sewer service. Currently, 6 parcels are exempt from the user fee, including 3 parcels within Sewer District Number 3, 2 parcels owned by Finney County, and 1 parcel owned by SWB Telephone. Staff reviewed the HOA request and the information provided in the letter. While the HOA indicates the property functions as subdivision green space, will not connect to the sewer system and contains physical characteristics that limit development potential, including a significant natural depression in the northern portion, the parcel remains located within the established boundaries of Sewer District Number 3 and was included in the original assessment apportionment used to finance the district's infrastructure improvements. There are 4 alternatives for the governing body to choose from. 1. The Board of County Commissioners may approve the user fee exemption and deny the bond assessment exemption. 2. The Board of County Commissioners may approve both exemptions. 3. The Board of County Commissioners may deny both exemptions. And 4. The Board of County Commissioners may request additional information from staff and/or the HOA. It is staff's recommendation, following discussions with council and fiscal staff, that the review of sewer district resolutions and other materials, staff recommends alternative 1, approve the user fee exemption and deny the bond assessment exemption. The fiscal policy impact is exempting the property from the bond assessment would not directly affect county operating funds. However, it would trigger the need to redistribute the remaining bond obligation of $4,910.80 across all other parcels within Sewer District Number 3. This reapportionment process would require administrative staff time and result in increased annual assessments for every other property in the district. Because the bond repayment structure was calculated based on the original apportionment at district formation, altering the distribution introduces both administrative complexity and changes to existing assessment amounts. Exempting the parcel from the user fee would reduce the district's annual revenue by $480 or $432 if paid on time. With approximately 307 properties contributing user fees in the district, granting this exemption removes 1 contributing parcel from the revenue base supporting Sewer District 3 operations. While the financial impact is minimal and not expected to affect service levels or budget stability, it does slightly reduce the total number of parcels contributing to ongoing district operations. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
No, Madam Chair, I will be abstaining since I'm 1/84th part of the HOA out there. Only question I would have, Derek, I was asked this question, I didn't have the answer, but when the sewer district went in, it was built, designed, and there was only 70-some homes, and then several homes got built afterwards. On the bond part, did those homeowners get assessed the bond on that as well, and did that reduce the requirement on the others that had already been assessed?
That is a good question. I do not have that answer at that time. Dory?
I believe at that time, according to the resolution, it was done based on square acreage for all of the owners in the sewer district.
So the land was...
It was the land, yeah, not necessarily whether or not they had a home or an improvement.
Well, I agree with the staff recommendation to approve the user fee exemption and deny the bond assessment exemption. And I would also state that I would make the user fee exemption contingent on the use of the land staying the same. If that change in the future, then we'll revisit that user fee exemption.
I'll second that motion.
I didn't make it in a motion, but I would, Commissioner. I didn't know whether there was other discussion. Well, you know, this, although Commissioner Utes is saying he's going to abstain, this is in your neck of the woods. Is that the right thing to do?
I believe so. I think the HOA on the, they already did some things on the taxes when, on Pishing, it actually bought the property and then deeded it over to HOA. if someone would be wiser than many of us and be able to develop that, I would agree with your assessment, Commissioner Schultz.
Very good. Then I'll move the commission to approve the user fee exemption for the tract as indicated for as long as its use stays the same and deny the bond assessment exemption.
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And that motion carries with Commissioner Utes abstaining.
Thank you.
Next, we have Lana Duvall.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. I would like to start by thanking the county for all of their help with our Higher Paths event that we did last week. We were approached last summer sometime by a group that had gotten some grant funding to do career hunts with middle school students. At the time, they had only done events in Manhattan and Hayes, and they reached out to the Chamber of Commerce here, asked if they would have an interest in helping to put one together for Garden City. Micah immediately reached out to our office to see if we would help with that, and it was just an incredible opportunity. So we could not have done it without the assistance of the county, however. We held the event at the exhibition building, and we had just over 350 kids for the morning session and a different 300 kids for the afternoon session, which was a lot in that space, doing 12 different activities simultaneously. It sounds like a big undertaking, and it was. It just, again, would not have worked without the assistance of folks from the county. Your fairgrounds people were great to work with. And then you guys also dedicated staff time to coming over and leading some of those career sectors. So thank you very much for encouraging your employees to take part in that. And again, it was a really cool experience, not just for Garden City 7th graders, but also the surrounding area. We were able to invite several communities from the greater Garden City region who brought students down too. So thank you for that. Couple of other things we're working on. We are working with the Kansas Department of Commerce on an innovation hub, working to make investments into our current makerspace facility that was used to be the Terrace Gardens Senior Living Facility on 3rd Street. So they're supposed to be in town over the next few weeks, and hopefully we'll be able to secure some dollars to invest in that and really make that more of a regional available space for folks to come in and launch businesses, learn new skills, all the things. So we'll keep you posted on that. We do have several housing projects that are continuing to move forward, and we're excited about that. We need all the housing we can get. Y'all should have received your invitation to the Empirical grand opening. That will be taking place in April, and we're excited for them. And legislative work, we've made some progress and put out some fires, I think we can say, but they just keep lighting more of them. So we are currently working with a group on a new proposal by Senator Karen Tyson for the state to tax renewable energy projects. Though not through traditional property tax. Just a little background, the state legislature is who actually exempted solar and wind projects from property taxation several years ago. This is an attempt for them to now take a surcharge and an excise tax, if you will, on large solar and wind projects. That may not sound like that big of a deal. However, there's some pretty significant overreach into local government through doing that. Number one, you will be in a position with renewable energy projects, should they choose to locate here, to negotiate either pilot payments in lieu of taxes or community contribution agreements. if the state chooses to take a chunk off the top, if you will, that reduces your ability to negotiate with those projects and ensure that you're able to meet needs of road use agreements, increased school enrollments, all of the costs that are associated with large projects of that magnitude. So certainly concerning from that standpoint. Potentially as concerning for me is the fact that then they would anticipate that communities that are choosing to participate in these growth related industries, again, industrial energy, certainly one of those areas. We already know that there are many communities and counties that are choosing not to participate in those projects, either because there is a moratorium, as is the case in the Flint Hills, or simply because those communities are choosing not to participate in the future economy. In this instance, if they force projects that locate in a county like ours, that to Commissioner Schultz's comment is open for business and choosing to participate in the future economy and responsibly and accountably site those projects, if they force an excise tax to be paid on those projects that are locating here, we are essentially funding school and property tax reductions for all communities across the state of Kansas, but they're not assisting us in paying the costs associated with hosting these large projects. So that is a pretty significant equity concern, and again, a pretty big overstep by state government. I think if they choose to do that, they probably are going to need to make a case to a court that would help convince me that that is an equitable transaction. So we will continue to work against that, advocate for our community as being one that is focused on growth and working to reduce property taxes for our region and our county residents, but we should not be responsible for the state legislature to take credit for a tax reduction on our backs or on the backs of our projects. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Lana. Any questions?
No, keep up the hard work, please, on reminding people in Topeka. Just for instance, tax bill passes the House by a nice margin, 85-40, in that range, and it eliminates my dreaded statute, net revenue neutral. And mysteriously over in the Senate, the home of Senator Karen Tyson, the net revenue statute reappears and is now going to be fiercely debated. And as we all know, many things go to conference committee. And so this commission is aware when they go to conference committee, they don't get to debate it. It's an up and down vote when it comes back. And who knows what we will get. But the problem that we have is there's not agreement right now between the House and the Senate on what we're going to do on ad valorem tax relief. And both of our representatives, Commissioner Pishney and Commissioner Lewis, as well as Western Kansas, was very solid in their vote to oppose amendments that took out the $60 million ad valorem relief fund and gutted that bill. That was the product of Representative Adam Smith's hard work. And as we all know, Representative Smith, Adam, promulgated a bill last year that received 124 votes to 0. I've never seen that. I've been watching the legislature for 41 years, and I've never seen it. And so his tax ideas should be carefully looked at as far as where we're going. And we just need economic development's continued input and emphasis on tax priorities that don't interfere with this commission's and our ability in Western Kansas to promote projects that we think are in the community's best interest. And really applaud your efforts in completely dismantling the concept of placing rural zoning of renewables with the Corporation Commission. That was just a bad idea, folks. It didn't get any traction. It's dead unless you gets resurrected in one of these conference committees. So we'll have to keep very attuned to where they're going with that. Yeah, thank you for your hard work.
Anyone else? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And administrator update.
So good morning again, Madam Chair and Commissioners. This morning, I wanted to provide you with an update on the selection process for Construction Manager at Risk Services for the Finney County Detention Center project. As part of the detention center planning process, the county issued a solicitation for Construction Manager at Risk Services to identify the firm best positioned to work with the county and HMN architects through pre-construction and construction of the project. A selection committee was formed to review the submissions, conduct interviews, and evaluate the responding firms. The selection committee included representation from Finney County, the City of Garden City, and HMN Architects. That group included Commissioner Oots and Commissioner Baskew, City Vice Mayor Deb Euler, and additional staff and project representatives involved in the project planning process. The intent was to make sure that the evaluation included owner, operational design, and community perspectives for a project of this size and importance. The committee evaluated in 3 categories totaling 100 possible points: qualifications worth 40 points, fee proposal and total compensation worth 40 points, and discretionary evaluation worth 20 points. Qualifications focus on each firm's experience, project team, and ability to deliver a project of this size and complexity. The fee proposal review considered the submitted subtotal of fee plus general conditions. The discretionary category allowed the committee to evaluate overall value considerations such as project approach, scope clarity, proposal completeness, and experience with similar facilities. After completing the process, the selection committee identified McCown Gordon Construction as the firm receiving the highest overall score. McCown Gordon also ranked highest in both the qualifications category and the discretionary category, particularly in the areas of project approach, scope clarity, and proposal completeness, which reflected the committee's confidence in the firm's ability to successfully deliver the project. While McCown Gordon was not the lowest cost proposal, the selection committee concluded they provided the strongest overall value to Finney County when all factors were considered together, including qualifications, relevant detention facility experience, project approach, and completeness of their proposal. That approach is consistent with Kansas law governing construction manager at risk selection. KSA 19-216E Section 4B states that the board shall proceed to negotiate and attempt to enter into construction manager at risk contract with the firm receiving the best total score to serve as the construction manager or general contractor for the project. Based on that outcome, staff has entered into negotiations with McCown Gordon Construction for construction manager at risk services for the detention center project. The next step will be to finalize those negotiations and bring a proposed agreement back to the Board of County Commissioners for formal consideration and approval at a future meeting. So this morning, this is simply to update the board, to keep the board informed of the selection committee's work, the firm that was identified through that process, and the next steps as we move toward a formal contract for your consideration. So that concludes my update, and I'm happy to answer any questions, and I have Sean here with HMN Architects as well.
Thank you. Sean, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Good morning, Madam Chairman and Commission. I'd like to thank Gary Meager and Adam Keel in particular. They went to a lot of work to get the scoring system worked out. We've worked in a lot of those scoring systems in the past, and we've had issues, or we didn't care how those actually came about on some of the things that we were involved in. I think they came up with a very good system. And then I'd also like to say that even with the numbers in the 20%, in the 40% on the cost, they were still under my estimation of what the project cost was going to be. So we're still working in the proper direction on this.
Very good, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions or comments on that?
No, well, I do. I just want to commend Derek and Sean and Gary. The process for this selection for CMAR was probably one of the best that I've ever sat in on. And even Vice Mayor Deb Euler commented how impressed she was with the process. So great job. get this moving forward, and then next step is on the LAC CMAR. So it was a great process, good communication from those interested.
And the process for the LEC will go probably late summer is what it's looking like right now.
Madam Chair?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Uch, when will the rest of the commission, when will we get to vote on the CMR designation for the jail project?
April 6th is the target date for that selection. We're in contract negotiations
Help
right
me
now.
out with time frame. We select our construction manager, then what's the time frame for bids and so forth?
Right, and Sean might be able to answer that better than I. The construction documents will be 100% complete, I believe June 26th, and then they can move forward after that process.
Forward being?
Bidding, yes.
Okay, and from bidding, when do we start construction? I want a timeline.
You want to know when you get your shovel out?
During that process, they will be going through and looking at bids, evaluating bids. They will have a time frame that they can negotiate with subs. I'm guessing that that's a 4-week time period thereabouts. I can't answer for McCown, Gordon on that, but that's typical what we see. I would say that we are also meeting a 50% deadline at the end of this month on the documents, which you guys will receive a formal set saying we've completed 50% of the construction documents. And then in that same process, we have started on the LEC drawings as well. I'm going to try to get confirmation on plans tomorrow. So in the time frame we are looking at, and I'm sorry I don't have all the schedules in front of me or available to me at the moment, but we were still looking at a 2028 completion date as opposed to that 2029 that we'd talked about months and months ago. I think this will work out really well with the LEC. One of the things that came about in this process was the use of the Westlake Hardware building and how we now got a little bit of a window to where we can start working across the street. But you'll see construction documents finished up the 26th to miss the July 4th holiday. There's a, help me out here, was it a 3-week time period, Nolan, for plan review?
Yeah, it depends on what they find, I guess, but normally it's within like a couple weeks.
So we'll go through that process to get our permits, and there is also a state fire marshal permit that will be involved in that process. And then they'll mobilize on site and begin doing some of the dirt work.
Time frame?
I'm guessing October.
Very good.
Some of that, we've got our soils reports back, we've got our survey done. So we've made good progress on this. Some of this, I'd like the CM to be able to comment on to be sure, but I think October is a safe date.
Without making mistakes, I would like to super glue your foot to the accelerator.
I will do that. Thank you.
So at this time, I would like to bring Mackenzie Phillips, Development and Administrative Coordinator, to give an update on the request for road vacation.
Good morning again, Chair and Commissioners. Mackenzie Phillips, Development and Administrative Coordinator. So we just wanted to provide you with an update on the petition that you saw at the last meeting to vacate the portion of Allen Road and Hummer Road. So we met as staff to kind of go over this request again before we reached out to the property owner who had submitted the petition. And we saw that this plat was originally from 1970. So I actually have a copy of the plat that Dory's passing out right now that highlights like 3 specific roads that I'm going to reference. So looking into this further, staff really believes that it might be in the best interest of the county to look at vacating all 3 of those roads that have never been built within this area. So that would be Weeks, I believe Weeks Road and Hummer Road, and Allen. So the original petition request was for a portion of that road, and the county doesn't have the right to ask a petitioner to, they have the right to petition for what they would like to be vacated. We don't have the right to tell them that they have to vacate more. So because of that, and because of like new technology coming through with reliance on GPS units and Google Maps and stuff like that, it almost becomes a safety issue at this point if AI or somebody sees that that was once platted as a road, and then it pops up on Google Maps that somebody's just looking at their maps and listening to their directions from their phone, and it takes them down into a field that the road was never properly developed. So we recommend that the county moves forward. The Board of County Commissioners has a way to vacate roads without receiving a petition first. So what we recommend is that the county commission goes forward down that road of vacating those 3 roads that I had mentioned all at one time. It would still require a public hearing and notice to all of the property owners that are affected, and requirement to be published in the paper. The property, if the Board of County Commissioners decides to go down this route, the property would be turned over back to those respective property owners. And then if any of those interior lots were to develop, they would be required to replat in the future.
Here's my question. Before we take that kind of action, I would want to know who has lot. It looks like, I don't know, I'm going to go from the bottom, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think the petitioner in the previous case owned the property down here in 9 and 10, or 8, 9 and 10, and you have a whole list of potential property owners, Mackenzie, that are essentially landlocked, and us creating that. There is no present road there, but I would hesitate to want to be the governmental entity that created a landlocked situation. And whether they were going to develop it or not, we can't predict that, but all we can do is not abandon an easement that's been granted, maybe as early as 1970 and dedicated in this plat, that we should not be creating a landlocked situation by fiat. So I really want to know how it is in the county's best interest to abandon the right-of-way, even if we've not developed the roads.
I'll have Sarah speak on some of this.
I guess you're going to have to decide at that point in time if the county's actually going to develop it. When these are platted and a developer goes in there to do this, we typically require them to develop the roads. At this point in time, I don't believe that the one who even did the platting is the one who owns any of this property. I think there was a large chunk of this that was owned by 1 or 2 different people at this point, but there's not been any movement in the last 60 years to actually develop and put in a road. The county hasn't been in a position where they have been putting those in. I know that there were also some other concerns from Road and Bridge that we have a bunch of miles of road in this county that are technically are dedicated that way, but they were never developed as roads, so getting them out of that, there were some concerns of just different things. And as Mackenzie stated, there are those new technologies that are coming in, and you've seen even in media posts recently, it was an Amazon driver, I believe, that drove directly into the water because the GPS told him to do so. I have such a road that's even out at my house at this point in time that if someone follows the GPS, they probably will either go straight into my house or my propane tank. So I think leaving these roads out there creates some sort of a safety hazard and issue as well at this point with these developing technologies. And as Mackenzie said, even with this, if the county were to move forward and start this process, that specific notice goes to all of the landowners who are around this area, so they can come in and they can protest, and they can give you their thoughts on what it is that they would, if they would like it to not be vacated at this point in time as well. So you can have some specific input from those landowners who are actually there and would be affected by either it staying or it being vacated.
So do you need a motion for us to, no?
No, we don't need an official motion, just direction on if we want to go down this path or revisit with the original petitioner and see if they would like to resubmit their petition.
Seems like we would want to investigate it further and determine whether we would want to proceed with vacating all 3 of the roads.
So just to clarify, when you're asking investigate further, would you like us to reach out to each of those property owners and try to see gauge their interest, or how would you like us to further investigate?
That seems like the best way to do it.
Okay. Perfect.
So is that basically what we're doing, is directing the road to be vacated and start that process? Is that what we're talking about?
There's a specific process by state statute. There also is outlined in a specific Attorney General's opinion of exactly what needs to be done for that. We could, I guess you could, in theory, do this a couple of different ways for staff. You could direct them to go ahead and start the process, which does that direct contact in the middle of it, because you're sending out those, I believe it's certified letters to those homeowners. If you want them to make the contact before we even start the process, what exactly is it that is the board's thought on that one? Because if we start the process on this, for this road vacation, you still obviously have to take action later to actually take the vote to vacate the road. So just starting the process and sending out those notifications isn't a final anything until after we've gone through all the steps. So you could direct staff to go ahead and they could start the process, or if you want them to informally do it instead of the formal process.
And I will mention that about a year or 2 ago, there was interest in vacating this Hummer Road and Allen Road, and there was a petition that was filed. They did withdraw that petition because one of the property owners out of all of them, and we did have a large meeting with all the property owners out here, or the majority of the property owners out here. There was a very high interest in vacating these roads. So the owner of, it would be lots 1, 2, 3, and 12, I believe, that's in between, off of Boots Road. That was the property owner. They own all of those lots, and they were not interested in having that road vacated because it would landlock some of their properties. The other landowners were very interested in it. But we can reach out to them again and see if there's still interest there. And I know that that property owner is currently looking at selling their land that was originally against it.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Land use decisions are always hard, let's say it that way. But when it comes to roads, these were dedicated in a plat in 1950. And if landowners want to seek the abandonment of the road, there's a petition process. If we want to abandon a dedicated public plat, there is a process. But I'm not convinced that there's any public necessity to abandon these dedicated roads without impetus from the landowners. If the landowner, one or more, wants to petition adequately for the closure of these roads, then we should hear that petition. But to go out and try to have the government dictate what the landowners should agree to me, is disconnected from the right of owners to be in charge of their own property without government interference. And so sometimes there's not a problem, but it's in search of a problem to create a solution that we haven't asked the landowners to decide. The one landowner who has petitioned provided an inadequate petition to accomplish what was needed to be done. If that landowner wants to revise that and give an adequate disclosure of what he wants to seek on the closure of the roads, then we'll take it up then. But I cannot see how we should be trying to dictate what we're doing with landowners' property without their initial input or impetus. So I'm not in favor of seeking to abandon a road that the landowners haven't petitioned to abandon. If they can get on the same page, that's maybe what we ought to consider.
Any other thoughts? What was the impetus for this today?
We didn't want to keep that petitioner waiting. We wanted to make sure to keep the ball rolling with him because he really is, the whole start of this is that he would like to put up a fence around his property, and he would like to put it up to the area, the whole area that he's utilizing, which includes those portions of the right of way. So they're the platted right of way. And so in order to keep him from not have to have him wait or like go and get a surveyor to actually do a legal description for him, we wanted to get just a consensus from the board of how we want to move forward with this.
I think that his original request was also very specific to only the portions of the road that touch the land. So then you're looking at what happens to the other half of the road, what happens to the other, I don't know, half a mile of road. I think that was a concern as well.
Yes.
I'm not sympathetic to the landowner who pays taxes to the middle of the road and then being prohibited from putting a fence on the boundary. But we have 1,100 miles of roads in our county in which all of the taxpayers pay to the middle of the road on their taxes. The right-of-way dedication is because that's the way the roads were platted and dedicated. And in this case, by a plat in 1950. So it's the landowner's responsibility to bring that forward, in my opinion. And so
Maybe he could visit with his neighbors and see if they're interested.
Is this property owner willing to do that process?
Willing to go through the petition process or reach out to his neighbors and see if they would like to join the petition. We haven't asked him that part.
I think it sounds like maybe this board might be in favor of that process.
Okay.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Well, thank you very much.
A couple more items. I would like to give the Board of County Commissioners an update on some dates that we're targeting. First would be our next joint county-city joint meeting is tentatively scheduled for April 28th. It would be contingent upon the city approving the date as a replacement date for their second meeting in the month of April. So we would do that in their pre-meeting timeframe, so beginning at 10 or 10:30. The second date would be May 4th as a date contingent upon work with a consultant to do a strategic planning session with the Board of Commissioners to help us with our strategic planning right after our regular scheduled meeting. And then the final date would be May 11th for outside entities to present budget requests to the Board of County Commissioners.
What was that final date?
May 11th. So. And that is it for my update.
Thank you. Okay. Upcoming meetings and events.
Nothing new specifically.
Just the usual. I believe we do have a request to add on an executive session. So maybe prior to that, we'll go ahead and give our commissioner reports. So we'll start with Commissioner Utes.
I don't have much. I think Commissioner Schultz hit the nail on the head on the legislative action that's going on, and I've been attending the KLAPG weekly Teams meetings, and I don't have anything to add on that. I attended the CMAR selection process. Again, I've already commented on that. Commissioner Basque and I have been asked, and we are co-captaining with Mosaic for a fundraiser, so that's going to be the end of April. If anybody has an interest in sitting at our table, let us know, and we'll be more than happy to put your name down.
Very good. Commissioner Basque.
And I'll just add on to what Commissioner Ute said about Mosaic is that we're basically kind of a co-team. It's a fundraiser, and basically we're just in charge of inviting some folks to join our table to listen to what Mosaic needs financially to continue their mission, and hopefully those that are a part of our team might be interested in donating at that time. But it's not like where we go out and solicit donations or whatever. It's basically we just invite folks to join us, and then if they feel like at that time to make a donation, great. If not, then not. So the other thing is I had 2 meetings since the last meeting. One was a extension office meeting, and then the second one was Fair Board, and those are just updates on the fair that's approaching in July, I believe. So that's all I have.
Very good. Commissioner Schultz.
Attended the builders meeting last week. Very good presentation with the builders group that provides insurance for builders, and was well attended. Over 65 people attended that meeting. Shout out to Webb's, a really good meal sponsored by Builders Group. And I think that it's important for everybody to know that our community has housing needs, and these folks build houses. So they need the support of our community and other economic development tools to be able to meet this new demand. I did not attend the senior meeting, and unfortunately I won't be able to do that tomorrow. As many of you know, the NCAA bracket came out yesterday, and I have been charged with the responsibility by my spouse to attend the opening celebration at Mandalay Bay, and I will not be missing the Senior Center meeting. The local government issues with the legislature is kind of been hit on a cymbal pretty hard today, but I cannot emphasize enough to the voting public to be in contact with Dr. Clifford, our senator, Representatives Pitchney and Lewis, on the issue of, I would call it, interference with local control on issues of land use in our state that I see it as an impossibility that the 165 people in Topeka have in mind what is adequate land use of land in Finney County or in southwest Kansas. And there are different regions of the state, and one size doesn't fit all. And if citizens have an issue about that, they've got to make sure that they let those 3 elected officials know. The voting public has no problem whatsoever having access to and finding any of us 5 commissioners that are seated here when they have issues of local importance. And this trend of wanting the state to determine land use decisions in all 105 counties in our state is just simply an overreach, and it's ill-advised. And I hope that we get out of the legislative session according to leadership in both houses. The number one goal is to get out of town so they can all start politicking for the elections this fall. But in the meantime, as I said to our architect, yeah, I'd like to super glue the foot pedal to the floor, but without mistakes. And the legislature needs our help. Our legislators need your help in making sure that local control is not lost in the haste to get out of town. That's my report. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Very good, thank you. I have some things to pass around. I had the privilege of serving on a panel with Commissioner Basque and Derek with some community college students on civic engagement last week, and that was actually a fun activity, and they seemed to be interested. So, you know, they weren't sleeping heads down on their desks or anything. Next thing I would like to talk about, I'd like to make a request of our administrator to bring forward a recommendation for how to address issues that I've uncovered with the county commission's practices in relation to the transient guest tax. As you may recall, earlier this year at the goal setting discussion, the commission had a conversation about the possibility of raising the transient guest tax from 6 to 8%. That conversation prompted me to take a closer look at how the transient guest tax funds are currently structured and administered so that I could better understand excuse me, how any increase would affect the county's responsibilities. During that review, I went back and looked at the charter resolution that the county had adopted in 2013, which established the framework for how the transient guest tax program is supposed to operate in Finney County. What that charter resolution appears to provide is two possible paths for administering the program. One option was for the county to create a transient guest tax committee that would review the requests and make recommendations to the commission regarding the use of those funds. The other option was for the county to contract with an outside organization to perform convention and tourism promotion services on behalf of the county. When I looked into how the program actually had been operating, it appears that we ended up somewhere in between those two options, sort of a hybrid, if you will. In practice, the county has been transferring the transient guest tax funds to Finney County Convention and Visitors Bureau, which is a separate organization. However, it does not appear that the county ever executed a formal contract with CVB that would define things like performance expectations, reporting requirements, financial oversight, or periodic contract review. Without that contract structure in place, the county does not have the typical guardrails that local governments usually rely on when public funds are being administered outside of county government. Things like clearly defined deliverables, reporting expectations, or routine review of how those funds are being used. In addition, when I look at how board appointments have been handled, it appears that the commission has generally been asked to approve recommendations for board members that are brought forward by this Finney County CVB organization rather than the commission conducting its own vetting process for the committee members that would normally occur when we appoint individuals to county advisory committees. None of this is meant to suggest that anyone intentionally did anything wrong. Over time, many programs evolve, and sometimes the structure that develops doesn't perfectly match the structure that was originally written into the governing documents. However, it did raise a concern for me about whether the county is currently exercising the level of oversight and accountability that we should have when we are responsible for public funds. Another factor that influenced my thinking was that during my research, I came across a legislative post-audit that was requested by the Kansas legislature a couple of years ago, looking at how transient guest tax revenues are being used by local governments. That audit raised questions statewide about whether cities and counties have adequate oversight structures in place for these funds. So when I looked at our own structure here in Finney County, it seemed like this would be a good time for the commission to take a step back, make sure our program is set up in a way that is clear, transparent, and consistent with best practices for public governance. The goal here is not to criticize the work that has been done by the CVB. Rather, the goal is to make sure that the county has a governance structure that clearly reflects our responsibility to oversee public funds while still ensuring that tourism promotion and event recruitment continue to move forward in a productive way. For that reason, I would like to direct the county administrator to bring forward a proposal that would allow the county to update the charter resolution governing the transient guest tax to allow the county to administer the funds directly, establish a Finney County Destination Committee that would include representation from hotels, tourism, sports, cultural organizations, and community partners to provide input and recommendations, increase the transient guest tax rate to 8%, which will allow us to strengthen those funds to invest in improvements to publicly owned visitor facilities, such as the fairgrounds and exhibition building, which are important assets for attracting tournaments, conventions, and other events and bring visitors into our community. I believe this approach allows us to strengthen transparency, increase oversight, and position the county to make more strategic investments in tourism and visitor infrastructure moving forward. With that context, I'm asking the county administrator to provide the commission with a proposal that, and the steps that would be involved in implementing the updated charter resolution. Another comment that I would like to make is regarding the AFAC funds that we had. It was interesting that we only had $10,000 to award, and we had, what was it, $100,000 worth of requests. So I would like to commend our communications staff for getting the word out there, getting folks interested in what we're doing at the county level. It was really good to see that kind of engagement. And it got me to thinking if we would want to look into, I know the city just had it on their agenda as far as liquor sales on Sundays in the city. And at their last meeting, they decided not to pursue that. But I just would like to gauge the interest, whether we would like to pursue allowing Sunday liquor sales in the county. So just a heads up on that. If that's something that you think we would like to consider, then maybe pass that along to our administrator. And that's all I have. We do have need for an executive session. How long and who shall we include?
We do have need of an executive session. That'll be under KSA 754319B2 for consultation with an attorney regarding special use permits. The meeting will need to be 30 minutes. So, and I don't know if you need a break beforehand, or if you're good and we can go in and come back out about, I guess it would be 12:20 would be when we would come back out of that. Included in that would be the administrator, myself, and Trish Voth from Volston Siefken, as well as the board.
I would move that we go to executive session for
30 minutes.
30 minutes, starting now. I don't need a break. Ending at 20 after 12. With the persons identified by council.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, and that motion carries. Thank you. we are returning from executive session. It is 12:20. And we need a motion to return to regular session, noting that there was no action taken.
I would so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. And that motion carries. Thanks, everybody. I'm gonna go home and get some rest.
Second.
All in favor?
I will move to adjourn.
He said, when you said motion to adjourn, he said yes. I took that as the motion to adjourn, and then I seconded his yes.
Aye.
Aye.